night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination in the International Fake Station in this wired up IT nightmare that we like to call America's greatest achievement. I'm here with my good friend and co-host and co-pilot, Something Wong, who is going to make sure that we stay on track as we travel through the cosmos tonight of the internet, talking to all of our good friends here on the YouTube and on the Rumble side too. We got some people over there watching, 2 people. All right, yay for everybody over on Rumble. Twilight Nights, he's everywhere. Twilight Nights is like one of the first ones in here all the time. Holy crap. So what do we got in here tonight? We got Earthship Bears here with us tonight. Sean Elke's with us. Angela Baby Carson. Let's see who else we got. The Shaolin live Kung Fu Shaolin. Oh, grasshopper. When a man go to bed with itchy butt, he wake with stinky finger. It's Chinese wisdom right there. Axis Monday's with us here tonight. Gonzalez. We got Jehovah's lovely daughter, Barbara. You know what? People have started calling her that because I think that's her screen name, because I say that all the time. Ida Hat. Yes, you are. Is with us tonight too. Let's see who else. We got Saddlebomb. All right. Saddlebomb. Sigil's with us. Intro gives me chills, then a great laugh. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I just put that together. You know, that's like the first one I made, and I've been using it ever since. I get a lot of people like that. Benny Boy's with us as well. Who else do we got? Chilling. We got 50 people watching right now. That's not bad to start out with. Not bad at all. So I don't know if any of you happen to catch Nachikita's marathon fucking live stream. Holy crap, like 10 hours this thing went. I didn't watch the entire thing, but my attention was directed toward it. There seems to be a growing number of Delltardians creeping up, and I'm like, are you people even actually thinking? All right, have you actually been paying attention? So this idea of an upward rising earth. Is the earth perpetually in motion? Okay, one of our arguments about The globe is that this perpetual rotation, what is causing this perpetual rotation, all even and shit all the time, right? So there has to be what, in order to have movement, you have to have force put to it. I know this is what the upward rising people think. But here's something they're not taking into account. They're not taking into account. If the earth was rising, and that's the cause for a downward acceleration of things. And I love this because I'm going to show you from this stream where they use these demonstrations, and I'm going to show you why it's a great demonstration of buoyancy and density, but it's not a great demonstration at all for the condition that they're trying to push. And that is that we have a pressure gradient based on the a pressure gradient based on the fact that it's a perpetually upward moving earth. And I'm like, okay, perpetually moving how? From where to where? Where is your evidence of this? And it's really, really quite flimsy. It really is. They're not taking into account displacement. Okay, displacement. Now, you'll want to argue with you and say displacement is not a force, but I'm going to tell you that displacement is indeed a force. If you have a tub full of water and you get into the water rises. Something forced that water to rise. What was it? And it was merely the fact that your body prevented the water from being where you are. So you displaced the medium merely by being there. So a force was generated without movement. A force was generated without movement. How is this possible? Ooh, but there it is. Otherwise, tell me what forced the water. What forces the air around me to not be where I am? My very presence. So therefore, me sitting inert right here, not moving, I am exerting a force on the medium. And likewise, the medium is exerting a force on me at approximately 14.7 pounds per square inch. At all points on the body displacing the medium. So first off thing we have to understand is that there is never a condition in which an object is not subject to a medium. It is always subject to a medium. And you can claim, oh, well, what about a vacuum? A vacuum is just a low pressure system. That's all. There's still a medium there. There's something in between those walls. You can't have nothing. There's something in there. A true vacuum, the walls would be crushed in together. So sorry, all you've done is reduce the medium. And in every case showing acceleration, the medium is what is modulated. Okay. So I'm going to show you here in a minute. This guy puts a bottle with some water on it on a cart with a little camera so you can see the bubble. And he starts pushing the cart forward, and automatically the bubble moves from center and starts going toward the opposite direction of motion, right? Okay, so it goes toward the front, the opposite of what everything else is supposed to do. Okay, great. Now, what he doesn't show is that he stops it as you see the bubbles start to go ahead and equalize and come back to center. He stops it at that point and then starts moving it backwards to show the opposite effect. So in order for that to continue to stay there, they would have to continue to increase the velocity of that cart in order to maintain that condition. This would mean that the Earth would have to be increasing in velocity to a point where it's at terminal velocity. Now, where is the proof of this? I have no idea. No idea. So there really isn't any. It's really quite ridiculous. I want to take this up to where he shows this experiment. Okay, here it is. I think that's it. Let's see. All right, let me get it back to where. Oh, yeah, because that was where I was watching on the TV in the house. All right, I think it's. All right.
And the camera mounted onto the reference frames that I'll be accelerating, which is the dolly. The reason why we have to constantly accelerate to recreate buoyancy is because we're connected to the Earth, which is already in constant motion. And in order to overcome constant motion, you need constant acceleration.
But the constant motion is perpendicular to the motion that you're doing, so it wouldn't have any effect on it in that regards. Come on.
As you can see, the air bubble is centered, which means the bottle is level and at rest. The air bubble will always be displaced or pushed relative to the motion of the bottle. When I accelerate the bottle, the pressure of the bottle pressing on the water creates a pressure gradient. The water is then able to push anything that's less dense, like the air bubble, in the direction of acceleration, which is what we will call buoyancy. You can't.
If you're going to be honest, keep going at the same velocity, and you'll see the bubble come back to center. All right. So it's the same reason when they show this thing in the van that they're going to show this is a temporary condition. And in order to have it be continuous, you would have to continue to accelerate faster and faster and faster in order to continue that. So all it is a rebranding of the equivalency principle, which is horseshit.
Can't have buoyancy without a pressure gradient, and you can't have a pressure gradient without a contained system that's in motion. For the second buoyancy experiment, I have a cargo van as the container, a helium balloon, and an apple. I also have the camera mounted onto the reference frame that I'll be accelerating. As soon as I accelerate, the pressure of the van pressing on the air creates a pressure gradient, with the most dense air towards the back of acceleration and the less dense air towards the front. The air is then able to push the helium in the direction of acceleration because it's less dense, but the air cannot push the apple because it's more dense. Therefore, the apple remains at rest. The apple only appears to move in the opposite direction of acceleration because the camera is also moving with the reference frame. The helium balloon has true motion and the apple has apparent motion.
Wait, what?
That's fucking retarded. Do you realize how retarded that is? Now, as I stated, that's a temporary condition. Unless the van continues in one direction and it's continuously speeding up, is the only way that that condition is going to take place in a perpetual state. Okay? And where is it? He says that this experiment will reform the gradient after terminal velocity. Right. It's temporary. Spot on. Right on. So this is absolutely fucking nonsense.
This is the point. This is the
Okay,
thing.
okay.
This is about
Okay. Del, one second. Let Jaren speak. Can you explain
you
what
try and explain that to me, Nacho? So he just said that he's showing the movement of the balloon, and then he said the apple's not moving when clearly it was. So can you rewind it or explain what the hell he's talking about?
Because you don't understand the visual interpretation.
And that's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking for an explanation, Del. When people don't understand, they ask for an explanation, dipshit. That's what I asked.
I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay, gentlemen.
I asked Nachi to just. I can't even understand your language, dude. So Nachi,
Yeah, Del, one second. Del,
that's not an insult. That's called a fact. I can't understand what you're saying. Do you
know? I can't understand your. I can't understand your stupid backward reasoning. But I'm still here.
Oh well, sucks to be you,
gentlemen. Gentlemen, 1 second. 1 second, gentlemen. Okay, Jaren, can I explain to you what I see? So we just go back a little bit, and then I will pause it, and then I will.
The only way that this could remain constant would be if the Earth was just continuously going faster and faster and faster and faster all the time. Okay. And at which point we would be going, hundreds of times the speed of light by now. I mean, wow. Come on, man. I really can't understand what people aren't getting about the simplicity of why things fall or rise. It's it's so easy, and they got to come up and try to overcomplicate the fucking simple, and this is really ridiculous. And I can't even believe that there's people even entertaining it. They think this shit makes sense.
We'll explain what I understand, okay?
Therefore, the apple remains at rest. The apple only appears to move in the opposite direction of acceleration because the camera is also moving with the reference frame.
Okay, so what I believe that William is saying is that it appears like when you look at the this, so like it actually, the van is moving, but the apple is maintaining its position. So if the van is moving to the left, right, its original position was in the middle, right? But as the van is accelerating to the left, it still maintains its position in the middle, relative to its original position. Does that make sense, Jaron? Did you understand what I said?
I mean, I guess, but it's held by a string.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, like, obviously.
Okay. Look, you're doing two completely different fucking things. You're actually going with a solid and a gas. All right. I can dig that. Go with two gases of different densities. Okay. Use a helium balloon and a regular oxygen balloon, right? Just regular old air in it. Okay. Now you're getting even more of a truer sense of what's happening, right? You'll get the same effect, but how do you know that it's not the balloon moving in the reference frame to the thing too? I mean, it's there again, trying to push that fucking equivalence principle. What's going on, Moonbounce?
What up, Dave?
What do you think? Do you think the Earth is flying upward in? What's it in flying up in? What is it going upward in? That's what I'm curious about.
Hey, right. The thing that I think that we need to be careful about is that acceleration thing. That once it gets to a certain acceleration, everything levels out.
Terminal
Because
velocity.
it's like then. Right, but then we come to the Earth is spinning and the Earth is going 66,000, and that's all even, so that when we jump up, we land in the same spot. We have to be like really careful of like once this gets to a certain speed, everything appears to be flat and motionless, and the water seems to be flat.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is like, okay, first off, you've got motion from nothing. What? I mean, it's just perpetual motion. And it's going upward. Where is it going upward from? And how does that stand with biblical cosmology? Not even close.
Right,
I
but
think
according
the simple
to
fact is
space,
people really don't understand displacement. That's simple.
according to space, or just in displacement and acceleration, is that you could really make the claim or the hypothesis, right, that moving forward is going up. It just doesn't matter when it comes to a direction of acceleration. Acceleration could just automatically can be considered up.
Well, the whole thing, it's just like, where is the evidence? Where is the proof of that? And this is what this right here, all he's showing me is that the temporary condition of acceleration, and there at the end, once you get to speed, then where's it at? Then where is it? Everything equalizes back out, right? So I don't even understand how people are even entertaining this craziness. But
right, because if we went with if you got on a, let's say, what is that, a merry-go-round, and if you're doing like somebody puts the scooter up to it and puts a wheel on there and you're doing 20, once you get to 20, it's not going to matter. You're still trying to pull your head up to get it even with your shoulders.
Right, right. Well, the thing is when you you take off in your car, you do feel yourself press back into the seat. Okay, yeah. Once you and the vehicle are all going at the same, that force is being exerted on every part of that car, not just you. Everything in the car is subject to that force.
Right, in a
But it
straight line. That's what I'm talking
right.
about. In a Ferris wheel or a merry-go-round, because that force is a curve. So that they would claim if we're rotating around the sun, and they're going to claim that we're in a constant upward trajectory, but they have to take an account for that curve. And once that happens, it can never be stationary.
No. And see, like I said, this is a temporary fucking condition. You know, I can understand where you can get the idea of it, but there again, many of you, I'm proud of you out here that have brought up the idea of once it gets to speed, then it's all just relative, right? So where's your gradient now? Will the balloon continue to travel in that direction? Will it continue? No, it's not going to. It's going to balance out once it gets up to speed. So the acceleration aspect of it is only a temporary. That van would have to continuously be speeding up in order to have that effect remain on that balloon. As soon as he stays at a constant speed, it's going to equal out. If he starts to slow down, it's going to go the opposite direction. It's that
Right,
simple.
but that's only in a straight line.
Right. In a linear path. Right. Right. Absolutely. I had some fucking idiot on Facebook arguing with me that lines and arcs are the same thing. And I was like, no, they're not. That's why they have different nomenclature. Okay. Level is a line and lines are not arcs. Otherwise, they would just be called curved lines. Right. They're not. They have a different nomenclature, specific characteristics. That a line is between 2 points. An arc has a central point. It's around a central point. I don't know how they can even conflate that. But here's what's so crazy about it is that they will entertain a contradiction in their mind merely because what they perceive as an authoritative source tells them so. You know, I mean, it's like, come on. But the whole thing, they have this thing of why doesn't stuff happen? Why does the buoyancy and density not work in free fall? It's because everything is in a state of equalization. It's undergoing equalization right there. It's all traveling at the same speed. Okay, there's zero net force on anything until it reaches a point of equilibrium or disequilibrium. That's it. I mean, you can't, I don't understand how they don't understand how they can't see that. You know, it's the same thing when you're in a vomit comet, you're not really weightless, so to speak. You're just in a state of free fall. It appears like you're weightless and like you're floating. You're not really floating. You're still falling. It only appears that you're floating because your surroundings are falling with you at the same speed. Get it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, let's see where this guy goes a little further. Jared started getting a little. I talked to him earlier, and he says, man, he says, I just checked out. It was like 5 a.m. by the time he said, fuck this.
It's held by a string, but like it's moving in the opposite direction to the acceleration because that is its original position. It's trying to stay in its original position. Does that make sense so far? That's what he's
in the real world. In the real, I see what you're saying. So you're saying the Apple's maintaining its spot in the real world, even though it's held by a string. So because otherwise it would leave out the back of the van, right?
Yeah. It would. I mean, it would have to be rolling around the floor of the van, I guess. But this is just for visualization.
I get it now. What you're saying.
And then, okay, good. And then Dell, do you have anything that you want to add or clarify based on what I just said here?
Yeah, it's exactly that. And if you invert that, that's what I was trying to explain earlier. The apple
Okay.
now the apple now appears as if it goes the opposite direction, so that would be falling. But in reality, the apple's not. You know, the helium balloon's the actual thing that is moving because there's a pressure there. It's being accelerated towards the direction of the acceleration because it correlates. The less dense material will be pushed in the direction of the acceleration.
Right. But so I guess where I'm confused is that if it's a van of air, right, which is what it is, then everything that's happening is a result of the air being shifted, right?
No, the air stays.
Correct.
The air stays where it was, and there's a compression of the air.
Air.
Yes, the air stays where it was. The van's the thing that moves. So there's a compression of the air towards the back of the van, the opposite direction of the acceleration, which causes the buoyant effect, pushing the helium balloon forward. That's how the displacement happens.
The air doesn't travel with the van?
No, the air has inertia just like the apple. So
it's a temporary condition. Like I said, it's temporary.
Right, but you get that, right? That since that van is not sealed, that the air is actually the same as the apple. It's trying to stay in its relative space to reality. It's the van that's moving forward. So when Jeranism is saying, hey, the air's moving forward, it's like, no, the air's really still trying to stay in its same spot because it's not a vacuum.
Well, and here's the problem he's got going on here too, is he's trying to compare a solid with a gas. Gases do not behave the same way solids do. You understand? Gases do not behave the same way as solids.
Exactly why that balloon goes forward and the apple appears to go backward.
Exactly. But it's not, the apple's not moving backwards due to relative density. It's moving backwards.
It's not moving backwards at all.
It's moving backwards for a different reason than the balloon is moving.
Right, but the apple's not really moving backward. The apple's trying to stay in its relative position. It's not moving.
Right. So what I'm trying to get at is that the motion of the two objects are for two different reasons. There's two different things going on there, and they're trying to conflate it as one. The balloon moves due to the buoyancy and density. Okay, that's apparent. The solid object is not reacting to the buoyancy and density. It's moving to the inertial reference frame. That's all. He's conflating two things. If you want to see an honest demonstration of it, then you have to go to this.
Is the balloon moving from buoyancy or pressure?
All right. Well, what is pressure?
It's like that temperature thing.
Compression of the gases, which of course does what? Makes it become denser. So yes and yes. So this is an actual honest test of it. Here's with two gases. Okay, and as you'll see, it's a temporary condition.
Okay, let's just hang it in the air. We're going to see if there's any difference. And what do you think? Would there be a difference?
I don't know. I think that maybe this one will be a little bit more grounded. Right. Because I don't know. That's just my hypothesis.
Let's try. Sarah, go ahead and punch it. All right, emergency stop. Yeah. Did you see what we did? Right. When we accelerated, we got pushed backwards, essentially.
Now, unlike the apple versus a balloon, you'll notice in this demonstration that the lines are like parallel with one another, just in opposite directions. So this is an honest comparison.
But the balloon went forward.
It went forward.
What's going on?
I don't know. Is it just because of the weight of what's inside the gas?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
And this van is filled with gas. It's filled with air.
Yeah.
Sarah, go ahead and punch it again. Goes forward. Emergency stop. Quick. Goes back.
Wow.
Okay. The air inside of the van is actually at rest. When she accelerates, more air gets back here, and up front where they are, there's a little bit less air.
And is that why
It's
the
a little bit
balloons
less
are
dense.
on that way?
Yeah, helium balloons float upwards into the upper atmosphere because it's less dense higher that you go.
Huh.
Okay, so it's trying to find a place.
Not because the Earth is rising up.
Place where the density of the air is equal to its density.
And it can do that quickly.
Yeah, do it again, Sarah. One more time. And then stop. Fast. All the way back. It's just so.
As I'm throwing forward, the balloon's coming back at
Balloon
me.
goes back. So we're gonna actually try going through a loop-de-loop up here and see what happens when we go in a circle with our balloons.
Okay.
So let's take us around this loop pretty quick. We're gonna make a left-hand turn fast.
And then going up.
And going
Wow.
opposite
directions.
And the line connecting almost even looks the same.
It does.
All right, punch it. Goes forward and give us stop. And it goes back. Good thing you were in the seatbelt.
Yeah, and you can hear my.
Now, do you notice as they start going after the effect, then it starts to equalize out?
Yeah. Pull in there.
So that's a more honest demonstration of that effect, not trying to compare a solid with a gas. That's stupid. And people were entertaining this, though. People are entertaining this, though. Are gases and solids, do they behave the same way? No, absolutely not. Oops. Oops.
Moves, it causes a compression of the air at the back of the van, which causes a displacement of the helium, pushing the helium forwards.
Okay.
I mean, okay, before you say, okay, does it make sense to you? Like, for example, like if you look at this van, like the apple and the air are going in the opposite direction. And because the air and the balloon have a relationship and the air is compressing to the right, and that's why the helium balloon being less buoyant goes to the left. Does that make sense or not?
But that is not the reason for the solid object appearing to change direction. The solid is not a gas. Holy shit.
Yes. Did you say that backwards? Or the helium balloon goes to the right, right?
No, the helium balloon goes to the left, according to our perspective. The air is trying to maintain its.
Isn't the car going forward? Isn't the car going to the right?
The car is going to the left. The direction of acceleration is to the left. Look at the arrow.
I see the arrow.
Look at the arrow.
Okay, I was just looking where the driver was. Okay, gotcha. So he's backing up.
If you want to test this out yourself at home, all you got to do is take a soda bottle, fill it up with water, so that there's enough so there's a bubble in there. Put the cap on it, set it on the seat of your car, or put it in your lap, or have somebody, or just hold on to it. Accelerate your fucking car. You'll watch that bubble go up to the front of it. Take it up to, say, 25, 30 miles an hour. Maintain 30 miles an hour. Watch what happens to that bubble. It's going to go right back to center. It's going to go right back to center. The only way to keep that condition is to continue to accelerate your vehicle faster and faster and faster and faster. That's the only way you're going to do it.
Yeah, it's backing up. He's backing up. So the apple and the air wants to stay in its relative position, which is in the direction away from the acceleration. And the balloon is going towards the acceleration because the buoyancy relationship between the air and the helium balloon. I'm not sure if I can, if Dell agrees. Dell, do you want?
He's literally comparing apples and oranges. Only in this case, he's comparing apples and balloons. Not a good demonstration at all. That should have been called out by somebody right from the fucking beginning. I mean, my wife even called that out. She was sitting there half-ass watching it while I was looking this stuff over, and she was going, "What the fuck?" She goes, "That's two different fucking reasons going on there." And I was like, I know, but most people aren't going to catch it.
Want to add to that? I mean, does it make sense what I just said, or do you want to clarify it more?
Yeah, it's due to inertia. This is the whole gambit. When there's force applied, we see this gradient created because the inertia of all matter, is prevalent. So as the inertia of the air takes effect, it causes a compression, which creates what we call buoyancy and displaces the helium.
Yeah, that's where I'm confused though, is we can't turn this sideways and do it, because if we did, then the apple's no longer connected to the roof.
Yes, we can do it in any direction. It's all been done. Jeranism. We've done it.
I just explained why you can't. So instead of saying you can do it in every direction, correct me. I said if we turn this van to say facing upward, then we have a problem because the apple can no longer be tied to the place that's tied.
Yeah,
how's the apple going to sit there?
It would have to be tied in a different way. It would have to be tied in a different way. Like if you're talking about just flipping at 90 degrees and then it's like going upwards and it's like a rocket, then you can still create a pressure gradient. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying the activity that's happening here is happening because there is a downward direction.
Gases are affected by nothing other than temperature, composition, and containment. That's all.
Exactly. And the solid, it's like, what's really weird is what it's like that two different things. It's like those are two different phases of matter. That's what makes this thing kind of wacky, is because one's a gas, one's a solid, and they're trying to make a relative connection, and they're really two different phases of matter. Is why this thing is going whack when he goes, well, if you put that van and drove it off a cliff, that apple wouldn't stay in that spot because it's no longer connected to the roof. And it's like, who gets that? Because that's a different phase of matter than the helium balloon, which would just go straight to the back of the van also.
Mm-hmm. See, this is actually a dishonest representation. What you've got going on here as well.
It's not dishonest, it's unequal.
Yeah. Which of course is they're trying to make it out like, look, here's two objects. Well, you've got not really. Okay. You don't really have two objects. You have a gas and you have a solid. I mean, unless you're going to consider a little wispy piece of fucking latex as an object, and I'm sorry, it just doesn't, you're comparing gases and solids and the way that they react. It's just not even, I don't even know where to go with that, other than it shows that, there's going to be more compression toward the back. The apple's just an indicator as to the direction of the density. It's not due to it. It just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know.
I can't believe people actually entertain this dumb shit. I had
it's like if you look at it, it's like if you look at it, it's two solids and one gas because it's a van and an apple, and they're the solids, and then you got the poor gas balloon just trying to hang out.
I wonder what kind of gas they was huffing before they got into this fucking bullshit. That's what I want to know. And it's like, wait a minute. That means that everything is just perpetually moving up from where to where. And is it just like, it would have to be continuous acceleration. It would have to be. Otherwise, everything would just be relative. So it would have to be continuous acceleration, and just by that logic, we'd have to be going, like hundreds of times the speed of light upward to some unknown destination. I mean, when do we get there? Are we there yet? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, anything to deny the creation, and say, oh no, it's this other thing. And it's like, no, that's dumb, man. Where are you getting this idea? Because you played with a fucking slinky? You don't realize that spring has tension to it? And if you get the tension and the drop rate to be similar, did you try it with other compressed metals? Did you try it with other springs? No, you didn't.
I have a thought. When you say it's everything to deny the creation, it's almost like in that aspect of who's self-aware that van was created. It took somebody to create that van. It actually took somebody to create and make that balloon. And it's just like in that apple of going, how did that get there? And the string itself is like everything, even in this video, was created, even the video itself.
Well, it's basically, that's why man is a co-creator with God. That's how it works, man. We take his creations and expand upon it and create more from it. At least that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, provide the ingredients to create a human life, and God creates the life spark for that new human. So there again, as co-creators with the creator. It's pretty interesting. Let me just go through this. I don't know how much longer I can deal with this, because I watched this. I actually watched this, and I said, poor Jaron, I way to go, trooper. If you're out there, buddy, way to go. This guy was really trying to get a grasp as to what this guy was talking about. And when you do subject it to actual logic, see this, I don't know where he's not getting this. He's going, well, where's the force coming from? It's like, well, just like I'm saying, I am forcing the air around me to not be where I'm at. And likewise, if I get in a tub full of water, I'm going to force that water to rise. Just my mere presence is a force through displacement. And likewise, the medium is exerting a force on me, trying to be where I am. But it can't. So what forced the water to rise? What is forcing the air to not be where I'm at? What's forcing 14.7 pounds per square inch on every portion of my body as I displace the medium?
Density.
It's displacement. It's absolutely displacement. Literally, even by its name. Because my mere presence displaces the medium. Therefore, my presence is a force. You get it?
I think it's your density, not your presence. It depends on your density to how much you displace, not just your presence.
I have to displace it, because two objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So therefore, one of two things has to yield. Either I have to yield or the medium has to yield. And that's where the density comes in. That's where the density ratio comes in. Right there. So in either way, there is displacement is taking place. There's never an instance where something is not subject to displacement of a medium, ever. Well, it's cutting edge, man. It's cutting edge.
That's why the apple's hanging. That's why the balloon is attached to the bottom of the van. It's all dependent on either the gravity or what we would call density and buoyancy.
But see, the thing is, so if you take it on the vertical, the up and down thing, right? So if we've got if we have the van like that, we have the apple at the bottom of the van, and we have the helium balloon on its way up through the van towards the sky. Okay. Now, if we start moving that van upwards towards the sky faster, the helium balloon rises faster.
Okay. Because the air is being pushed to the bottom.
Yes, because the air's compressing at the bottom, like on the Earth. That's why we have a gradient of air.
There's no evidence of any compression of the gas, other than the fact that it's contained. You displace the gases, and of course, at the Earth level where we're at, where do all the gases on Earth come from? I wonder. Let's think about that for a minute. Oh, right. That's right. From the Earth, right? Yeah. And what adds to pressure? What adds to pressure? More materials. Of course. Yes. And do we have the same components in the atmos at ground level as we do at, say, 40,000 feet? No, we don't. We've lost some of them. We've lost some of those. Okay. And what for? Why? Well, due to their density to other gases, as well as their reaction to temperature. Not all gases react exactly the same to temperature fluctuations, which we have continuously in this dynamic fluid pressure system. Constant heating and cooling throughout the day, throughout the night, throughout the seasons. All of these different temperatures and pressure differentials colliding together and equalizing and expressing themselves in the form of what we call weather. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Man, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like in the Van Halen scenario.
What would the apple do?
The apple would remain where it is because the air can't push on it.
Yeah, but
So
it's go ahead.
1 second. Like, so Dell, let's just imagine a rocket, you know, that it's accelerating down to the earth, and you have unlimited amount of space, right?
Yeah.
And there's air and balloon and an apple inside that rocket, just like a container would, like this container would. Then would you surmise that because it's actually accelerating to the ground, you know, and it's going faster than, let's say, gravity pulls it, it's actually going faster because it's a rocket going downward. Would you have the same effect of the density gradient where the balloon is actually toward the bottom, pointing toward the ground, and the apple actually will be at the top in that gradient? Yes or no?
Yes, this is what I'm saying, that we've done all this, you know, downwards acceleration and an inversion of the buoyancy density gradient. Yeah.
Okay. All I needed is all I need. 1 second. All I needed is a yes. Jaron, do you think that's possible or that's plausible, or do you disagree with that idea?
So go ahead and lay it out again. There's a rocket. It's coming down towards the Earth, and it's got inside of it a helium balloon that's got no string. It's just a helium balloon.
Yep.
Yeah, just a helium balloon, air, and an apple, and then it's moving down to the Earth faster than the gravity can actually pull it. So it's going faster than the free fall.
Okay, so gravity. So then the apple would be pressed to the top.
Yep.
Okay.
And the helium balloon would be probably at the bottom because the helium balloon is less buoyant than the air, which would be pressed to the top, just the same as this experiment right here.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay, good. Then we both are on the same. We're all on the same page with that, right?
Okay.
Okay, Dell, did you want to say something more?
No, I mean that's the whole point. This is how accelerometers work. This is what it shows us when we see these displacements. The displacements are the effect of a force being present, and we can tell the direction the force is going in by the displacement of the buoyant effect.
All right, I'm gonna just learn y'all something here real quick. Okay, I have this little pack of cigarettes right here, right? Now, there is a hole in the air right now. There is a hole in the air. The exact same shape and size as this pack of cigarettes.
I disagree.
You do? Okay. Why?
Because there's air within that pack. There's air that pack itself isn't a volume.
All right, stop. We're gonna get you. We're gonna go with something that's absolutely 100% cubical and solid. In fact, we're going to assume this is a solid cube of steel. Right? Now there's no air in there. Okay. So there would be a hole in the air the same size and shape as this cube of steel or this block of steel. All right. Now, when I drop it or I move it, what happened to the hole? I just moved it out of its hole. What happened to the hole? It filled in rapidly with the medium, didn't it? Now, the air that this thing takes up, the same shape and size, weighs much, much less because, of course, a block of air the size of this weighs much less. It's much, much less dense than this solid object. So therefore, when it drops, what happens? It's going to drop. It wants to balance. Everything wants to balance out. So when it drops, what happens to the hole continuously as it's going down? It's continuously being filled with the medium behind it, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's going to have on the object.
Right. So when you make that explanation, right, that's exactly why they have wind tunnels and like race cars and stuff. is exactly that point of how that air fills in behind that to keep that, let's say, the relative speed going, or it can even increase the speed in the way that that air fills back into that hole that was created by that object.
Yep.
So what's really tripping to me is when you make that explanation, it's like how everything already has to be displaced. Because no matter how big you build something, it never increases the air from the displacement. Like the pressure of the air has to be a certain pressure. So no matter how big you build something, it doesn't squeeze that air tighter because of the immense size of the object you built. Because that air has to go somewhere, and if it's in a container, it's going to increase the pressure.
And the material was already here displacing. Right. So you're not adding anything. You're not adding anything to the medium. You're just taking something that was already relative to it and making something else out of it. It was already displacing the medium. Whether you make steel or whatever else, you still had to take that out of the earth. The earth is still displacing the gas.
That's kind of like the weird thing about the global warming thing and like the greenhouse effects and stuff like that.
Well, that's like thinking that if you let ice melt in a glass of water, that it's going to overflow. It's not. The same displacement ratio is there. Absolutely. The ice is going to turn back into water, but it's not going to overflow the glass. Not at all. You can try that one all day long and see if it works. I mean, you don't get something for nothing. That's all. Everything has a cost. Everything has an expense. And I'm not talking monetarily. You have to, if you're going to make something, you have to destroy something else to get the materials to make it. You understand? There's nothing new. It's just changing. It's just people changing it. Now, I have joked that. I've talked to people say, man, that guy's worthless. And I say, that's not absolutely true. He does displace the amount of atmos that we need to have the necessary air pressure that we feel. So he does have a purpose. He's an efficient exchanger of carbon dioxide and oxygen. I'll say that. That's a great compliment there. What is this? But if you want to see my sweet tits, you got to go pay me. Yeah, everybody throw some money up there and we can see Brian Staveley's titties. That's what we're all after right here tonight.
Man, I'm glad you said that, Soft, because now I have purpose.
Yeah, there you go. But no, I mean, it's like Flatoid's perspective. I'd never heard of Dell. I think I'd run across one of his videos once and he sounded very angry and I couldn't understand him halfway what he was saying. But then Flatoid had covered some of his shit about this upward rising earth crap on his show. And I'd been on there and Dell had come on there and I was just like, and there again, yeah, I was like, well, what's causing this movement? How is this perpetual motion upwards? And his answer was, it's moving because it's moving. And it's like, okay, well, there you go. It's just like gravity because of gravity. You know, it's the same thing. It's just a different way of expressing it. And it's really hard for me to fathom that anybody's actually on board with this craziness. I mean, once you take it just a little step further, like I said, make that be a permanent condition. Make that be a condition that remains until you change it again. And you can't, not without continuously increasing your speed. So, you know, there again, it's cool though. There's people that get on this bandwagon. They say, "Oh, we're onto something new." Why? Because this guy that we think might be smart said so. All right, well, let's break down what he's done. And you look at it.
Because what makes it upward, like we were talking about at the beginning, is like what makes it upward. I mean, just what they were talking about earlier is it could be going downward.
Upward relative to what?
Yeah.
Yeah, upward relative to what? There's a good question. So I don't know. It's you know, you can. It's a fun mind experiment, but you soon find out that no, it's not. Once you really understand the importance of the medium and displacement, then you start gaining a better understanding as to how things really work. I mean, that's just all I can say. It's hopefully I can help people with that. You know, but I don't know. You really have to do some mental gymnastics there. Again, the same dumb shit with the globe. You know, how in the world is the globe rotating? How is it spinning? What is causing this? What is giving it its motion? Where is the power coming from? You can't just have a perpetual motion machine. There has to be energy expended in order to get energy out.
I know for some reason what came to my mind is like you wearing that tinfoil hat and then underneath tinfoil it would read, "Ask me a question."
Yeah, right. Yeah, it kind of blows my mind. So anyway, in answer to that question, is the earth perpetually moving upwards? Well, of course it fucking isn't. Jesus Christ, people. Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, he sort of presents a good argument at first, but then when you put it underneath the scrutiny, and you know, it's like, look, you're trying to compare a gas with a solid. No. Okay, no. I mean, as far as this demonstration in the van is concerned, I think the more honest is the one that I showed that shows the two gases in comparison to one another. I don't know.
I have a question though. Really, the more honest one would be that relative observation, or if you want to call it an experiment, is just put the apple in the helium balloon at the top of a building and let them both go.
I lost my apple. I had too much helium. Shit. It was my last one. Oh my God. Oh, so I've been looking across. I getting some crazy shit on the scene with all these people. This is the thing. I can't believe people just go with what they hear. They go with what somebody says, and they don't ask any fucking questions because it might disrupt what they want to believe. And one of them that I'm seeing is this thing. How come nobody's asking Trump how his fucking ear healed up, man? You haven't heard anybody fucking mention his ear or nothing.
It was that big white Band-Aid he had on there. Healed it like that.
Yeah, but I mean, there was 12 days later, he's meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and his ear's fine. And nobody's asking him, Mr. President, or, you know, Mr. Trump, how come your fucking ear healed up without a trace of injury to it? How did that occur? Did you undergo plastic surgery? You know, nobody touching it because they don't want to admit that that motherfucker lied to him. He's no better than the rest of them. He lied to everybody and said he got shot. He staged a fucking assassination attempt, and these idiots aren't even asking him.
No, but what's really weird to me is that, you know how, I mean, that dude goes to the WWE and whatnot. And it's like, who ducks under something and the next thing they know, they come up with some red on their ear. It's like, and the dude's like at the WWE with Vince McMahon, and all of that is just entertainment and show and go. There's no way he could have brought that into like his stick over here. It's all entertainment.
It is. And these people are buying it right up. They're eating it right up, man. And they put it right in front of everybody, and they just sit there going, look at this. They're doing this. They're doing that. And I'm like, do you not understand that both these sides are playing against you? Do you not get it yet? That it's not about blue and red. It's just those are created just to make you fucking people argue and fight. And oh my God, they act like such children. Up to and including, it's like nobody, you're just going to pretend like he got shot in the ear and everything's good. The main guy who wrestled at WrestleMania and had a reality. Yeah, that guy.
Exactly. It's like Nature Boy. He like dives under the thing, and the next thing you know, he's got blood coming off of his forehead. It's the same thing.
When I used to do Civil War reenactments, I used to carry a blood packet in my cartridge pouch, and a cartridge pouch would be full of blank cartridges, just black powder that you're putting in the barrel. Put a cap on, pull the fire, right? So I'd start getting low on cartridges, and I would reach into my cartridge pouch like I was loading, and then I would have the blood capsule in my hand and then take it and smack it against my forehead and then fall backwards. And it was really quite dramatic because the blood would splatter and it was all over your face and you're laying there on the ground. And so it was very convincing to people, you know, and it added good flair to it, but it was real easy to do. It was real easy to do. I had this little girl come up to me and she goes, "How did you get that boo-boo?" This was after the battle and everything. Everybody's just mixing, you know, and talking and shit. I said, "Them Yankees right there shot me." And she says, "Oh my God." She ran over there and started yelling at them and telling them how they were no good and that they were mean and trying to hit them and kick at them and shit. And I had to tell her, I was like, "Look, honey, no, it's just fake. It was just for a show." But she was really upset about that, you know? So it's not hard to do. These people do it all the time. It's continuous. All the shit you're seeing on your TV, it's all a bunch of fucking scripted reality TV bullshit, man. And we fall for it. We don't, not here at this, not at this channel, not with these people, but the majority of the people out there, well, at least they try to make it look like it. I don't know if as many people are really going for it as you might think. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of people saying, "Yeah, it's just bullshit. It's, you know, crap." But then you've got these other ones when it comes to this like election, and I'm like, what the fuck do you people not understand that it doesn't matter? What part of it doesn't matter do you not understand? How many times have I told you what government means and where it exists? It's in your fucking head. Governo mentis, control of the mind, right? The only way it works is if it's like Tinkerbell. Only way it works is if we all fucking believe in it. Well, I don't believe in it. There's more and more people that ain't believing in it neither. It's horse shit. It's a detriment to my existence.
Right. It's what makes it reality or not. Like when you say reality TV, it's like, is that really reality TV? Is that fake reality pretending to be in that aspect of reality TV?
It's like these scripted videos you see there just to get you engaged, right? And it's supposedly somebody pulling a prank on somebody. And you know full fucking well that they're not really pulling this prank. These people aren't really falling for it. They're just doing it so they can make a video. And people find it funny and will watch it. And it's like they try to make it look like it's you know, an actual prank being conducted on somebody. And you know better. You like my new dog? He can talk. Talking about you, Moonbounce. He said he likes my new dog. He can talk. Yeah, that's all I need. Like a hole in the fucking head is another dog.
Bart.
Jeez.
Bart.
I only got. There's Mr. Drake. What's up, Mr. Drake?
How you going, Dave?
What's going on?
Oh, the world is going crazy.
You think? Come on, no.
Hey.
You know what, though, Tony? Tony, I think it's always been fucking crazy. We're just really realizing it now. That's what I think is really cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm really critical of myself. I've been here 76 years and I'm only just beginning to bloody realize.
Yeah.
I've been too busy working for the man.
You guys want to see Brian Stavely throw up in real time? I got a picture I'm going to send him. He's going to love this one.
Kamala trying to get you to work for the woman.
Kamala, yeah. So Tony, what do you think about this this upward rising Earth thing?
There's a lot of shit. Hey, I actually know where we live and what it is, but I haven't been able to convince too many people. But there's masses of evidence for what I believe. It is a globe, but we're on the inside of the globe, not on the outside. They turned it inside out. That's all they did.
Tony, what's the prescription on those glasses?
Yeah, I'm just about blind.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
don't look at the sun with those on. Christ, that's
no.
cook your fucking eye hole out.
Yeah.
How'd you like that picture I sent you, Brian Stavely? He's gonna throw up. I know he will. There's a picture of Hillary Clinton in a G-string I found as I was surfing on X. It's really cool. It's nasty. Why not? Let me just share that with y'all for a minute.
It's a C string.
I don't know. What do you think?
Man,
that's a tasty dish right there. I can tell you what.
Looks like Bill's head's down there.
So did you see this thing where they got a hologram of Jesus coming back? This is pretty crazy, man. Watch this. Couple F-16s fly in and start shooting missiles at it and shit.
Holy crap, man.
That's what would happen.
Treating it like a Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah, right.
What country was that? And where did they do that?
I don't know, Brazil or someplace.
Down in Rio?
Yeah, probably. I think
Got a
they were going to run that kind of thing during the Cuban Missile Crisis, man. They were going to try to run that and get all the communications jammed up with people all, on the radio and everything, talking about Jesus coming back and shit as a distraction for them to do an amphibious invasion. I guess they decided against that.
Tony, how does Jesus come back on the inside of the globe?
No, there's no Jesus coming back. That's bullshit.
Wow. I wouldn't know.
I've got masses of proof that people wanted to research it. I've been lucky. I've been lucky most of my life. I've been privileged, and I've owned a business, and I've been worth $3 million at different times. But I've had the time to do my own research, and I've been researching the system for the last 30 years, and I've come to the conclusion that I know where it is, what we are, where it is.
Well, you can pass down some of that wisdom this way.
There is a couple of sites on YouTube, Eyeball Earth, Cellular Earth, Hollow Earth. If you start looking at all of those and putting the pieces together, the evidence is all there.
Well, let me ask you something on these any of the videos regarding this. Is there a Wikipedia fact check sticker ever put on those?
No, I honestly don't know.
Interesting. I don't think there is, and I find that interesting.
Hey, Tony, that pond behind you, that water, like where are you located on the inside of the sphere of the globe? Are you like on the top, on the side? What keeps that water where it's at?
There's been you aware of some of those long distance photographies across lakes, are you?
Maybe you got some black swans here and there.
Yeah, well, there was some people that did a laser beam across a large expanse of water, and they used a little boat, and they took it out halfway between the 2 points, and they found that the water was lower there than it was at the extremities. They've actually measured it. They've measured the concavity of the oceans.
What?
I haven't heard of that before.
So you're talking about centrifugal forces keeping it there.
No, it's electrostatic. If you understand electrics, it's like a capacitor. We live in the dielectric between two levels. The Earth's negative, and there's an internal globe about 60 miles up. There's another globe, and that's where all the stars and the sun and everything else is. And the center of the universe is about 4,000 miles above wherever you are on Earth.
So you're saying a celestial sphere is what you're saying?
A celestial sphere, yes. It's about. It starts about 60 miles up, and that maintains the illusion of the level because it's electrostatic.
So I'm guessing you're a big fan of Tesla, right?
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
And I'm an enemy of that other bloke, Einstein. He was a bloody paid idiot.
So is that water negative or positive that would cause the center of that lake to be concave?
The surface on the Earth is all negative, and the celestial sphere is positive, and it causes a dielectric that forces everything towards the negative.
But why don't we have any evidence of concavity?
We do. You just haven't looked at it.
I have.
Well, if you want
to, there's all we have is level, and of course we know level is not a curve.
I'll tell you how to do the experiments if you want, if you've got time. I'm in Australia, right? I'm in the far southwest corner of Australia, and people all across Australia have satellite dishes on their roofs that pick up a signal, and experts will tell you. You can confirm this. I've spoken to the top people in this sort of field, and
Tony, where are you? Where's Australia at? Where's Australia at in the interior of a sphere? Is it up? Is it right, left, down, sideways? Where's Australia?
It depends what your point of reference is, doesn't it? Anyway, these satellite dishes, right? Satellite dishes have got to be set up very accurately to receive the signal. They've got to be fixed, and they've got to be solid and immovable. Now, they point to somewhere in the sky, and if you look across the map, you'll find the further you are in one direction, you point a little bit different angle. And if you want to do the research and check all the angles, you'll find that they all point to a particular place. And in Australia, they point to the top of a mountain in Papua New Guinea. Now, you tell me that doesn't mean we live in a concave Earth.
So then why can't we, I mean, I know this is probably a question on everybody else's mind as well. How big is this celestial sphere?
Roughly 8,000 miles in diameter. It's nearly the same as what they tell us, but it's inside out. That's all you've got to understand. The people that rule this world turn everything inside out, upside down.
But we don't have any evidence of convexity or concave when we look across level water. If it was a concave thing, then that would mean we would see objects actually rising in the horizon. We wouldn't even have a horizon.
Right. Instead of the ship disappearing from the bottom to the top, as in they go. That's how you can prove the curvature of the Earth is watch a ship go is like it would be like totally opposite. You would never lose sight of the ship.
There's been plenty of long distance photography, and I've done some myself. I've taken a photograph over 170 miles, and I can show you that we live in a concave Earth. Some of these
so you can show concave of what rate of curvature are we talking about here?
roughly 8 inches per mile squared.
Well, we don't see that in either direction, though.
Yes, we do.
No.
You just haven't looked. You haven't looked in the right places. Look up the plumb bob and mine shaft experiments. They did those in South Africa. They had 2 plumb bobs a mile apart and a mile long in mine shafts, and they measured them, and they can prove that those 2 lines intersect at 4,000 miles away.
What's a mine shaft, Tony?
In a shaft. Hold on. In a shaft. Wait a second. In a shaft. Do you know? And there was. How did they eliminate the possibility of Bernoulli's principle deflecting the plumb bob?
They were used in mine shafts in South Africa. I suggest you look at.
How did they eliminate the prospect of Bernoulli's principle deviating the plumb bob?
I'm not aware of that principle. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You'd like to explain it to me?
Yeah, pull it up on Google.
It's the same thing that makes an airplane wing lift. Okay. When there's air passing over something, especially in a shaft, when it's passing over the object, it can deflect it from one side to the other based on a lower to higher pressure differential caused by the object in the moving air.
Well, okay. These measurements were taken with very strong steel wires going down mine shafts where there's no movement of air, and they measured the distance between the bottom 1 mile down and the top, and there's 8 inches different, 4 inches difference, or whatever it is.
Is there anywhere else that besides these 2 mine shafts that I'm sure that there's got to be better proof than that? I mean, I would look for actual physical concavity as I would for convexity, and knowing that the principles of water at rest do not go into a concave or a convex shape.
They can when there's an electromagnetic differential. They can. It's been shown.
Can you demonstrate this? Is there a laboratory experiment you can point to?
But there has been. There has been. If you take a balloon and you get the static charge on it, and then you put it next to a faucet running out, you can see it's been proven that the water will attract towards that balloon in that aspect. But on a grand scale, it's like, what would cause that to be convex? To be inside a sphere and it be convex, because static electricity can draw that water to the balloon.
Yeah, I think that only works up to a point. You have to have a greater and greater charge the more and more water that you use, the more and more water that's at play. There's a ratio there. You can do small amounts of water in a static on a balloon, but the amount of power you would have to generate in order to get that effect with large volumes of water.
Exactly. What does Tony consider causes that large static charge? Where does that large static charge come from that would actually concave, let's say, the Pacific Ocean?
It all comes from the center of the visual sphere above us. It's all electromagnetic.
But the sphere is round. The sphere then has to be a sphere, so it can't come from like outside the sphere, right? Like outside the sphere is like totally electric magnetical, where everything, instead of it being centrifugal force from spinning, and everything being pushed against the outside of the container, you're saying the electrical charge comes from outside the container and draws
No,
everything to it.
no. The center, wherever you are on Earth, if you point straight up, if you go 8,000 miles, you'll come to the countries on the other side. If you go 4,000 miles up, you'll come to the dodecahedron inside of the celestial sphere, which creates the energy and produces the sunlight and the electromagnetic forces that hold the water to the surface of the inside of the outer sphere.
Do you
So your
have
claim?
hold on. Is there any fucking proof whatsoever of this dodecahedron, of this way? You said that if I went straight up, if I went 4,000 miles, I would come back to Earth. I would just go straight right on to what the fuck ever's on the other side of this
8,000.
Yeah, this is a lot of claims. We're all kind of wondering.
It really is a lot of claims.
This is a lot of claims.
The celestial sphere is made of what? Do you know? If not, that's fine. Is it a solid?
It's water. It's water, and if you like to look at the experiments of sonoluminescence, you'll understand a bit more.
I'm aware of sonoluminescence. Absolutely. What I have a problem with is a sphere of water, indefinitely suspended somewhere.
You know, it rotates. It rotates. It's in the center of our universe.
I think this sounds like somebody ate some acid and came up with
I know.
this idea.
Draw me a picture, Tony.
I thought the sun was the center of our universe. Wait a minute.
Listen, an easy
That's
thing
not water, is it?
an easy thing for anybody to do is to look at where the satellite dishes are pointing and realize that they cannot point to something that's floating around in the air. They can only point to a solid location.
They're just. Do you wonder why they're a dish and not just a singular point antenna? It's because it picks up a signal scatter, and you go to the strongest point of that signal scatter. That's all. It's just signal scatter. It's not an object.
The satellite dish at the other end has got to be in the same condition. The one that they're pointing to has got to be the same. It's got to be pointing at them, and it's got to have a dish.
The one that they're sending the signal out with is an omnidirectional antenna.
Right, Tony, prove that. Prove that from Australia, that if they point a satellite dish to somewhere in the universe of water, that it's going to reflect back to, let's say, South Africa, to that dish.
Yeah. Hey, they can only point a certain distance because the sphere above us is only 60 miles high. We're in Australia, we're pointing our dishes to a mountain in Papua New Guinea. We can't point to a mountain further away because it'll be interfered with by the celestial sphere.
What's on that mountain, Tony?
A big transmitter. A big satellite transmitter.
So how does that make it spherical?
Because where my satellite dishes are pointing is up in the sky.
So?
And I don't believe
a mountain, and the mountain's in the sky. My God.
What elevation is your dish at? And what's the elevation of the tower?
If you look at my dish and then you go and look at somebody else's dish 100 miles away and so on, and you draw up a map and you put lines on the map where these things are pointing to, you'll find out where they're pointing to. And I can tell you they're pointing
to the top of a mountain.
Yes. Yep. And it's on the inside surface of the globe, so we can't point. We can't point.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Just got a day.
Keep going, Tony. Sorry.
What's up, buttered biscuits?
It's up, man. I kind of missed
Tony's
you guys
awesome,
earlier.
man.
I came home. Hey, did you get a storm today?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got kind of some yucky weather, but not too bad. Why?
Oh my God, we got hit, and I had a tree go down when I got home and hit the house, and I was out doing all that kind of stuff with the chainsaw. It's like, my God.
No, you didn't have a tree come down. The earth rose up and met the tree.
I love you, Tony.
That's it. Yeah, the earth rose up, and then the tree just kind of followed the earth up, man. Oh my God. And it hit my house, and geez, luckily, it didn't do too much damage other than a mud room, but my God, what a mess. So I kind of missed you guys earlier. I got that storm, and then I lost connection. And by the time I got home, I was like, this is just a freaking day. That's all I can say. What a day. What a day.
Sounds like you had fun, man.
I'm not even done cleaning it up yet, but I got to a stopping point by like 8:45 when the sun was now, quote unquote, down over the horizon, as the earth was moving up towards the sun and rolling backwards at 1,000 miles an hour. Oh God.
That's great. And all of that, you knew it was 8:45.
Exactly. my with the technology today, my GPS told me so. No.
Yeah,
crazy.
You wouldn't even have pants if it wasn't for
exactly.
If it wasn't for space and NASA and the Earth being a globe, you wouldn't even have pants.
Praise God for NASA, man. How would we live today? How would we even be talking right now? I mean, geez. Thanks, NASA. We love you. You're so wonderful.
I know. And I gotta say, the Delltardians, I can't believe there's actually people that are entertaining that upward acceleration of Earth. And now we're hit with this.
Saab, I think we should have like a live show on to represent NASA as we all come on and we inhale helium and we speak.
There you go. That could be fun. That could be definitely fun. We're going to be doing NASA making fun of shit. I told Jaron he's got to vet the videos better. Because somebody sent him one and he put it on the board and it came up and there was no fucking sound to it. And all it was just showing engine failures in a test facility with no words. We had to just come up with, whatever the fuck. I was like, oh man, that was way too much work. I like it when they say stupid shit,
Mm-hmm. I just came on to get a laugh tonight because I've had one of those days. So I was like, that's it. I gotta laugh at something. So
well, I heard you kind of laughing a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Do you maybe you got some questions about the
about the what? Maybe. Somebody's breaking up real bad. I think it's something maybe.
I think it might be Dell being outside. I think he went outside to smoke.
Tony, how high are those clouds?
Tony's out there. But no, if you I thought maybe you might have some questions about the, we know it's not an upward rising Earth, but now we're being told that it was a convex Earth. We live inside of a globe.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just dismiss it and move on. I mean, what else do you? I mean, this stuff is just getting so insane. Yes,
I remember. Yeah.
It's cut in half, and you put the butter in between it, and then you just put the biscuits together, and that's it, man. I don't know. And I can prove it.
There's always people wanting the Earth for some reason to be something other than what it appears to be.
I don't know what it is. It's insanity. It's crazy.
No, what you think you see is not what it really is. And it's like, yeah, it is.
I mean, I can prove it because my satellite points to the mountain and it's in the sky, and that proves a globe.
Yeah, but I have a thing though, is that like that is like it's totally cool. It's like we have to treat Tony like a brother, right? It's
Yeah,
like
that's
still
cool.
sharing with him and asking him the questions of why he thinks the way he is, not just dismiss him for being a spherical
That's
inside
No,
the
true.
globe
it's like
thing.
I
That's
want to
true.
know. I want to know more. My problem is this: is
Yeah.
that I see level water. Okay, and
I
by
came
definition,
on in a bad
level is a
spirit.
line, and lines are not arcs. Okay, and this is, and I don't care whether you want to bend it inward or outward. I don't see any indication either way. I see no deviation, none. So how is it, you're going to have to come up with something a little bit better than that. I mean, you're telling me that if I fly straight up 8,000 miles, I'm going to end up on the other side of the earth? Come on.
Crazy.
That doesn't even make any sense. In that case, you should be able to see the Eiffel Tower from fucking where you're at.
But Sovereign, do
Going
you
up.
think he has a point? Do you think he has a point though with electrostatics?
All right, so this is where I'm at with electrostatics. Yes, there is evidence and proof that there is electrical potential that increases as
everything.
we rise in elevation. Now, is it the cause? No, it merely sets the vector. It merely sets the direction. With no other direction, that weak static force is what gives it the direction. Now, the condition has already been set. So here we are. The condition is already set. If something is going to weigh more than what it is displacing, then it's going to fall. If it weighs less, it's going to rise. If it weighs the same, it's going to not do anything.
So
The
how
weight.
would you explain that? So how would you explain that to Tony, who thinks that the electrostatic is like outside of the sphere instead of inside a level topographical plane that's contained?
Well, if you got to look at it like this, we know that in order to have a volume, a specific volume of gases, we have to have containment. And given the electrical potential that is evident as we go up, sprites that shoot downward and meet and cause lightning, right? Things like that, we can assume that there is a positive charge in the upper atmos, or if you will, even the firmament itself. Now, what is it made of and what shape is it? I don't fucking know. Okay. But I don't have to see a banana to know that it was involved in banana bread, right? There had to be a banana involved there, and we're just excluding artificial bullshit. We're just, for point of observation. So it would appear that we have two Gaussian surfaces, for lack of a better term, which of course is going to cause that neutral plate we stand on and the positive above to cause an electrical downward vector. So that is just what sets the direction. That's all that sets the direction. But is demonstrated, like with the balloons that I showed, that it is just the buoyancy and the density of the medium that is going to indicate whether or not something rises or falls. It's that simple. If you increase the medium, a gallon of water weighs, I think, approximately 8.5 pounds. Okay. In this ambient medium that I'm in. Okay. Now, how much does that gallon of water weigh if I put it in water? What happened to the 8.5 pounds? It's gone. And now it doesn't weigh anything. Why? Because it's at equilibrium.
And in a vacuum, it's more.
You see? So it's that simple. It's that simple. Solid object sitting there is going to be exerting force because it's even in itself in a state of disequilibrium. It wants to fucking spread out. It wants to fucking go down. It wants to spread out. It wants to, and so consequently, it's going to exert a force just sitting there. And of course, the force
Right.
of displacement.
It's like that water you were talking about. It's like it weighs 8 point something pounds, but if you put it in water, how much does it weigh? It doesn't weigh anything to your aspect of that, but it actually weighs the total of whatever water you put it in.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. That water only has a weight in a state of disequilibrium and has to be contained. The same thing with a gas. The same thing with a gas.
Right. So does it still weigh 8.8, or does it weigh
No.
the total of the volume of the water that is placed upon?
Well, the water is the medium. The water is the medium. So there it is. It's an equal, even if you exchange the water for something with the same buoyancy or the same density as water, that gallon of water would still weigh nothing.
Okay, I have a question for you, Saab. Right since you said that, what is actually the median? Is the median the air?
Yes.
Or is the median the water?
Yes. Yes and yes. The medium is whatever is surrounding the object.
Whatever it's in. Yeah, correct.
Whatever is surrounding the object, whether it be mercury, water, air, nitrogen, oxygen, argon, whatever. Those are all a medium. And there's never a condition where an object is not subject to a surrounding medium. So it's always
So do you think
ahead.
think that's what Tony's actually missing when he explains what he's explaining? Is what the median actually is?
I think it's what a lot of people are missing because everybody's always looking for a singular cause, and it's a combination. And it all has to end up doing, like I said, the vector is set, and it all has to do with the relative density of an object within compared ratio wise to its medium that it displaces. It's all about the displacement. Think about it this way. Whatever it's in is either going to swallow it or spit it out. It's either going to swallow or spit.
That's what she said.
It's like a first date. You don't know until you try it. No, it's going to be, in other words, it's either going to be able to support the medium, or the medium is going to be able to support the object, in which case, if it stays neutral, it's at the same density ratio as the medium that it's in. Now, you can get yourself into a relatively close density to the medium. And this is why NASA uses a pool as a neutral buoyancy lab. It's the closest thing to being weightless as they can provide for these people. Okay. So it's because of their relative density to the medium in which they're in. Outside of that medium, now you're displacing a completely different medium, in this case, the air. And this is another reason why things weigh actually more in a vacuum. As we reduce the medium, which we can never remove it completely, but when we reduce the pressure of the medium, we find that the object on the scale inside the vacuum chamber increases in weight, because now the ratio of the object to the medium has changed.
I have a hypothesis. When you're saying that it's air, when you claim that NASA has that pool that's a neutral, I would say that the reason they claim that is because the water itself, the density of the water, more matches the density of objects placed in it. Is why it becomes a neutral buoyancy.
And they purposely are using materials that are going to be in close concordance with the density of the medium that they're in. They're never going to be actually able to completely, fully achieve a weightless environment, because everything is subject to its medium. And sometimes things are even heavier than water. So, you know, he drops the screwdriver in the neutral buoyancy lab. It's going to go to the bottom of the pool, despite him not, because they're totally different displacement ratios. It's really
only according to the shape of the object. Because if the screwdriver is smaller, it's going to go to the bottom. But if the screwdriver, according to its weight, is like a destroyer or a battleship, I mean, that weight itself causes, in the way that it's formed, causes it to float rather than it sinks, even though that the buoyancy fact is that it should actually sink to the bottom.
It should, but because of the amount of surface area that it's displacing, it's all about your surface area of displacement is going to change that too. There's all these different factors, and one of the problems that you run into is that these guys are always looking for one singular cause for what's occurring, and it's not. There's a combination of things. For instance, like the pressure gradient, there's a combination of things occurring there. You have composition changes, you have temperature changes, and you have to take those into consideration. You also have the amount of surface area of what's around it, okay, as opposed
or
to
we wouldn't have snowshoes.
Right? You know, so it's like, come on, y'all. Looking for, it's gravity. No, it's not fucking gravity, man. Gravity can't affect the gas, even if it did exist.
Why doesn't gravity affect you when you have snowshoes on? It'll push you down through the snow, right?
Well, it actually, you're doing is you're dispersing your weight over a greater surface. That's all.
Yeah, just giving you a perfect example. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's the same thing. You ever seen them little bugs that they can stand on the water just by using that surface tension?
Yeah.
And it's because of the distance that their feet are out on top of the water right there in distribution to the own weight of the object itself. It's really quite, you know, I wonder, you know, I used to, you know, play with bath toys and shit when I was little in the bathtub, you know, and I would,
you know, you still do
underwater, you know, two different things. One would float up faster, and I was amazed at how, you know, something would really want to go flying up and other things would just come up real slow, and I'd be wondering about that. And of course, I'd be asking my dad, I'd say, why is this one come up faster than this one over here? You know, why is it? And he was very patient with me and explained how these things operate. I had a really cool toy that was it was a little bathysphere inside of a bottle, a plastic bottle. And there was an object at the bottom. There were little objects, and you could squeeze the bottle, increase the pressure. And what that would do is make the little diving bell drop. And at the same time, it would make its little claws open up. And then when you got it down there close to the bottom, you try to get it close to the object, and then you release the pressure and it would start to float up. And at the same time, the little hooks would come together. And you practice trying to pick up these little objects and shit. And then I learned about diving bells, and I was like, oh, those are cool, man. And experimented with shit, making
Physics, baby,
diving bells and see if we could take it down, how far we could go underwater. It was actually, we had to add a lot of weight to it to get it to go underwater. But eventually we had a thing. It was about 3.5, maybe 4 feet underwater, and it had a little pocket of air in it. We had it weighted down, and we could dive under the water and go under there. And people say, hey, where'd they go? And we'd be in there breathing the air. But after a while, the air is no good. So we learned that too. I think I was fortunate to grow up on a lake. I really was. I couldn't believe that guy Lore Lodge was out there. You remember the Afghanis that were chasing the blow up airplane down the tarmac?
That wasn't blow up. That was real.
Shit. That thing, you can tell it's fake as hell. And that fucker's out there saying, oh, that was real. They were really doing it. And I'm like, yeah, no jet wash on any of them people behind the turbines and everything, right? Come on. Holy crap. But yeah, he's out there saying that that's a real thing. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing on Trump's ear. You know, this is where he supposedly had his fucking ear blew off and shit. And here he is. Let's see if we can take a look at that real quick. That was only 12 days. What the hell?
It's a miracle. That hole that's in his ear that goes inside his head is right there is what that bullet caused. You see it right there? Right there. That's it.
This one right here. It's such a joke, and nobody's going, that motherfucker lied, man. They tried to trick us and make it look like he got assassinated or some shit. What are you fucking doing, man? Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. They're all just, oh, okay, well, look, Kamalo's poll numbers are this, that, and the other, and just going on like nothing happened.
What caliber was that? What caliber was that bullet that they were claiming? It could just graze his ear and cause a serious injury.
Yeah, 223, which is the civilian 5.56 round. So, what? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, no way, no fucking way. And here he is, just marching around like nothing ever happened,
Hey, Sal.
Yeah.
Why do you think that everybody thinks that, like, the District of Columbia is actually part of the United States? So that all of that stuff that goes on there, they don't understand is like a foreign invasion.
Because they were taught it was part of it's the capital, man. It's the capital. I don't know. That's you were never taught that in school, were you? I wasn't. And what's the others? It's London, DC, and what's the
Vatican?
Vatican. Yeah, that's right.
City states.
So yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's like with all those January.
Go ahead.
With all those January 6th things, it's like people talking about their their civil liberties and stuff, and it's like they don't understand. They're in the District of Columbia. They're not actually in a state within the United States claiming their rights and whatever is like different.
And there's 10 acres or whatever it is. It's
10 miles,
I guess
10
miles. 10 miles. Yeah, 10 square miles. They're originally known as Rome, and it used to be on the river of Thames, which is also the same as Rome as well. They renamed the Potomac the Thames, from Thames or Thames or whatever you want to call it, to the Potomac. So yeah.
Well, the whole big farce of the United States becoming a independent country, breaking away from England, it's a fucking lie. It's a lie.
Yes. Yeah.
It's why it's been called the Great Experiment. The treaty that was signed was with King George, announced as Prince of America on the document. We registered as a corporation in London on July the 2nd, 1776. Why don't we celebrate July the 2nd? It's always
I thought it was a third, but yeah. I guess
it was. And you go and look, and it's changed now. I don't know if that's a Mandela effect or just a sneaky fucking thing.
I always knew it as the third. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. And then recently I looked at the thing, and it said that it was registered on the 2nd.
What?
Yeah, they're playing games.
Yeah, and then when was it? 1865, they also registered it as a corporation as well. But anyways, after the Civil War.
Listen,
go ahead, man. Sorry.
It's a joke, man. And that's the whole thing. It's our whole history is, what we're led to believe as opposed to what really is.
Yeah, the 14th Amendment. My God.
No, my question is, what's with the registered? It's like, they claim it was registered. It was registered. Registered with who? And registered meaning what? As in us, as in like individuals, or as in spiritual beings. And registered meaning what?
Well, register really basically means to give to the crown. Regis.
Right. And also the UCC as well, right?
Well, look at the word Regis. Regis. What does Regis mean? Crown, king.
Got it.
So when you register something, you give it to the government and then pay them a fee to use it.
Corona is also a crown as well. So
that way you can borrow your own stuff.
So when you register shit, licensing is nothing but legislating a right and then selling it back to people.
Which is bribery.
Of course. It's coercion. It's a number of different crimes all in one shot. Oh, excuse me. Oh my God. Yeah, too much of this. See, and I got in trouble. If you noticed, last night's stream was down for a while. Nobody could find it. It's because they blocked it for a 1 minute and 28 second Dave Chappelle bit that I showed.
How dare you put Dave Chappelle on your show?
I know, right?
How dare you clone your live?
Yeah, they couldn't, and they couldn't deal with it. And a Ralphie May, the Ralphie May one, talking about having gay parades. It was blocked worldwide.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I know it was. It's funnier than hell. But they don't want you saying that stuff. You can't say anything. Don't upset the little frou-frous. Don't upset the little frou-frus who get all.
Oh no, you can insult Christians, just don't insult anybody else.
Yeah, you can't say anything about mud packers and shit. You can't say anything about them.
Mud packers.
Yeah, I mean,
what's a mud packer?
Think about it, bro. You just think about that.
Think about it. Think about it.
Yeah. What's a mud packer? You know what? You just think about it for a little while. It's code for some of the shit. And you know, these weirdos that are all these people that are in these echelons of power are really fucked up people. I just looked here. There was a guy who got caught on video trying to meet an underage child for you know what? And he's a Bronx prosecutor, William Kemp Neal. And this is crazy. Watch this. This is nuts. They'll probably strike me because it shows them putting him in a chokehold. They'll probably say, "Oh no, that's violence. You can't show that." But anyway, I'm going to put the link to the post in the chat if anybody wants to go and look at it. YouTube's a bunch of fucking pussies, so you can't show anything like that. I think it's good. They don't think it's good. They like those kind of people, so that's why they promote them. You know, that's the platform we're using here too, babe. That's the platform we're using. Just amazing. Just amazing. This I thought was interesting. Now, I had said something about this a while back. I'm going to go out on a limb.
You're choking them out. Sorry. I'm watching this.
Know, it's like
wow.
When you claim it's like nuts, do you mean these?
Yeah, right. Well, you remember what I said? You remember what I said a while back? This woman is saying this now. I forget who she is. It says, and she's talking about that the people that got the shot are now classified as transhuman, essentially stripping them of human rights.
How nice.
Yeah, and I
so
said that.
There's a plus side there.
You know, if they've got that patented and it does go and change your DNA, then that means that they own a patent on the very essence of what makes your physical you.
You've been crowned.
Huh.
You've been claimed.
So that's
crowned and claimed. Yeah. That's what Corona means, man. So
this is the one. There's people actually still thinking this is real. This is what I was talking about earlier. There's people that think that that's real.
Well, it's not.
All right, look at the
real.
Come on, dude, really?
look at like the green screen. It's so bad.
I want you to also,
very badly done. Come on.
Pay attention to that nose number. Pay attention to
If
that.
25.
If you can't see through those windows, you're blind.
Yeah.
Look at the number.
They look painted on them.
Yeah,
but read it backwards.
25.
With the same color
9/11.
paint they used to paint the Air Force.
9/11. There it is.
9/11. These people back here would be getting such a jet wash, and you hear that thing revving up.
Yep. I remember watching this too.
The Taliban, a bunch of weapons.
He left him some
Hey.
inflatable planes, dude. That's not a big deal.
Hey,
Right?
James.
Haven't you seen that video?
That inflatable
What?
plane is
So
sick.
I don't think you can get that.
You guys ever watch the you ever watch the Phone Booth podcast?
I just want to know what's different than those people on the wheels of that plane than the astronauts inside the Apollo missions.
That's a good question.
Close to the jet engine.
It's a real plane.
I have-
Habib would have been sucked through it, dude. If that was real, he would have been gone.
Same globies argue that too.
They're
Yep.
not even globies, man. They're NPCs.
With Afghanistan, this is an important point that I wanted to make. And since you mentioned that hilarious video, I'll just mention it now. They said that 13 servicemen died in Afghanistan. 13, right? What are the odds? Other than that, and other than the Ukraine and the Israel war, which I think you guys agree it's like PSYOP, it's not like a real war. Other than those wars that make it seem like we're on the verge of World War III, we are not actually officially in any countries.
I know someone who just came over from Ukraine, and I was asking her about, like, you know, what's going on. Obviously, I was interested to hear like what her experience was, and I figured she was like a refugee or something like that. Totally not. And I asked her, I was like, so how's your life different, or what's going on over there? And she's like, well, you know, I didn't really notice anything different. They just kind of passed a lot of new laws. And she's young and ignorant, you know, so she didn't know what's really going on, but nothing really changed except for, of course, they never let a crisis go to waste, so we might as well at least push something through.
That's probably
And that's
the
all she
whole
saw.
point of it.
Free propaganda.
Yeah, if y'all don't know about the Phone Booth podcast, you need to check that out. They're pretty funny. Their screen names are of the fictitious from Bill and Ted's Incredible Journey. So kind of a little nostalgia thing on that, but it's they're funny.
Nice,
shit.
dude.
And logical
Hey, Saul.
thinking, a lot like me. I had him on here one time about a few months back. Yo,
How is that any different than the Patriot Act? See, what that person's talking about in Ukraine is the same thing as that, what people would say the Patriot or the Patriot Act. It's like they just changed a bunch of laws. They don't know nothing. It's just like us. We don't know nothing. They just changed a bunch of laws with that act.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. And under the guise of necessity and safety. See, it's necessary
Keeping you
because
safe.
in this day and age and all this other fucking bullshit that they try to run past you. See.
So have you looked into this whole Proposition 2025 Agenda 47 stuff? Earlier, but
I thought it was 2030.
yeah, well, no, that's proposition is in a
It changes
proposal
every week, guys.
2025. That's with the Trump stuff, but that's it's pretty wild. It's like the conservatives' wet dream, and I don't vote, so don't put me down that line.
yeah. Listen, if you vote,
oh no, you spoke against my guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you vote, look, here's the thing: you're giving your consent for even if the guy you vote for loses, and they tell you right up front, your popular vote doesn't matter. Okay,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
it doesn't. The president is
Electoral
selected
vote.
by the electoral vote. All right.
That's right.
Now, that being said, why bother? Right? They want you to vote because then that gives you consent, gives them consent. So whatever happens, you agreed to it. You entered the contract.
Exactly. That's what I
See?
think is that people claim that, hey, if you don't vote, you don't have a right to say anything. And I claim that if you vote, you don't have the right to say anything. Everybody who doesn't vote has
Everything's
the right
upside down.
to say. Yeah.
Right. Correct. Comes right on. That's exactly right. Yeah. Because everything's upside down. Yeah. Including that. Everything they say is just backwards. Like literally backwards. They tell you to go do something and don't, that's
Yes.
That's what you got to follow.
Here we got a really cool
second guess everything.
There was this cop here. It said from a viral video. Mananga is the place of him arresting this woman, and he's no longer employed. Let's see if we can figure out why. I like these. It's a little change of pace, but it's along the lines of freedoms, liberties, things.
You all at my window, I swear to God, I'll shoot you.
Look, I'm getting all this on tape.
Get out of the car.
Look, he pulling a gun. This for the.
Get that on video. Get out of the car. She took off on me. Get out of the car.
She has a tinfoil hat
Get out
on.
of the car.
This guy is missing his donuts, man. My donuts, my belly's not full enough.
This officer is suffering from what we call dicky do. That's when your
you don't know what his dicky do.
That's when your belly sticks out more than your dicky do.
That's right. What's a dicky do?
Get out of the car.
Look, Father God, you dispel this evil in Jesus' name.
Careful, he'll shoot you for that.
I am the law enforcement officer. Get out of the car. Get out of the
Let's
car.
do what I tell you.
Get out of the car.
That me, I don't know.
Go f yourself. You don't know. Get out of the car.
Not a peace
Get out of
officer.
the car.
Tell you what, you point a gun at me, motherfucker, you better be ready to use it because I'm going to drop you like a bad habit. That's all. That's how I am. I see a gun pointed at me, I'm going to fucking go. I'm going to town. It's odd.
It was war.
What the hell is he doing? What? This guy is such a pussy piece of shit. What? I'm sorry, man. This guy.
Oh, I'd sue him. Until it's his fault.
Door open. Look at him.
This is what he does with his life at night.
Get out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
He's got issues, man. Dude has got fucking issues.
What?
Oh, dude, if I saw somebody doing that to my wife, they'd be.
He's gonna break her arm just to prove it. I got power. What?
Did you say Hispanic?
Earning the hate, man. Earning the hate. My gosh. What?
Was this thing going to give me a circle of death? I knew it would.
Let me guess. He got suspended and he got to go back to eating donuts.
No, he
didn't. He didn't pull his pants down.
They probably made him work at high
I thought maybe he got a little suspension, full, like little vacation, fully paid, and all that.
See if I can pull this
Is that it? Oh, it says he's no longer employed. All right.
Yeah.
His plate.
Now he's
within minutes. 49-year-old Beth.
God bless America. I hate this when these things do this.
Honestly, when are we gonna cry out that we want more done than just them getting slaps on the hand? When is it going to be wrong for them to break the law just like it is for us? It's just crap.
Yeah, they're
Hey, 49-year-old Beth DeLoma was threatened with a gun and tackled to the ground by Chief of Police Nathan Lanham.
She was stopped at the intersection of Shaver and Lambert Street by Officer Lanham, who she claims didn't look like an officer when she was pulled over. She asked to see his badge, and according to her, that's when Lanham began to berate her and threaten her before pulling his gun and pointing it at her head and crotch. Scared in the moment, she drove about 30 yards to her mother's house where the video was filmed. Her neighbor, local Reverend Bill Preston, heard her calling for help as she drove through the field.
I heard screaming, Bill, help me, he's got a gun. Well, I didn't know who she was talking about, so I went a little bit closer to talk to her further, and about that time, this car pulled down the driveway toward me, and he had to slam on his brakes to keep from hitting me. And the marks are still on the road out there. And he got out of the car and he pointed his gun at me and told me to get back.
What the fuck? This guy is like,
get back. There's a Karen over here. Don't get close.
I mean, it's like, let me see your badge as he unzipped his pants.
I'll tell you what, man, this guy ain't got no more business with a gun than anybody. I mean, this guy right here is one of the last people you want to have a gun. He wants to pull it out on people.
Anybody with a smile that cheesy doesn't
Wait.
should never have a gun.
Let me finish mine out. So you're done.
Which I did. And I might say also,
butter biscuits.
when he first came using that F word, my wife was out there demanding who he was. We didn't know who he was. And he used the F word to my wife.
Bill and his wife have lived in Monongah for over 50 years, and he says he never thought he'd see something like what happened to Beth DeLoma.
That was the shock to us. I've never seen nothing like that, let alone a police officer. You know, I have the greatest respect for the police. You know, what they have to go through. And
I have the greatest respect for the police and what they have to go through. What
do they have to go through?
The poor thing.
People, right? That's what they got to do. They rob people. Yeah, that's a lot to go through. I would imagine that would play hell on your conscience if you had a job where your primary duty was to harass and collect. Yeah. Expect somebody to put their morals on a shelf for 8 hours and then adopt them back? No, you need people that don't have morals to begin with.
But for a police officer to act that unprofessional, I just couldn't believe it. If a little child, kids that have been around there and seen that, what would they have thought of the police?
Beth was held in jail on a $125,000 bond with felony fleeing with reckless indifference for 5 nights before the charges were dropped earlier today.
They let her sit in jail for 5 nights.
Felony.
Before somebody finally
felony indifference. That's what's trippy. Felony indifference. What does that mean?
You're a criminal.
Yep, fat bastard. That's all I can
Why'd
say.
you run? I wonder.
I'm higher in the food chain. Get in my belly.
Probably because your dumb fat ass come up like you're in the Iraq war with a pistol drawn and shit. That's probably one of the first reasons I didn't want to be up on with you around me. See,
I love those gung ho cops. I always make them mad because I would just sit there and don't say nothing to them.
If that would have been me, that'd have ended bad. I can guarantee you that. That would have ended really bad.
Yeah, we'd probably be paying bail right now.
Wrong, there wouldn't be no bail. Of course, there again, if your life is threatened,
be at the funeral, yeah,
like that. I mean, and what was her crime? What was her initial crime? What was he pulling her over for?
She didn't listen to him when he mouthed off to her, told her to stop moving her.
I mean, you think about that. What was she being pulled over for in the first place? That's important.
A victimless crime. That's why. Victimless crime. Who is the victim?
There again, that's an oxymoron. You can't have a victimless crime. That's right? Because in order for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. So it's some kind of a stupid code infraction.
And a signed affidavit as well.
She violated some kind of a code. She violated some kind of a code. Did not leave a victim at all. Probably something just as innocuous as not having the right fucking sticker on her license plate or some other bullshit like that. And this guy was ready to end her life over it.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And all he has to claim, was he was scared of his life and he could have shot her and walked away.
Scared of an old lady who can't even walk.
Maybe he lose his job. That would be about it.
I'll tell you one thing he ain't afraid of, and that's food. That motherfucker look like he ain't missed a meal in a long time, bro.
He ain't afraid of a high heart rate.
That motherfucker hasn't missed a meal in a long time. That's real.
He probably been in McDonald's and Burger King.
Jesus, I can't believe shit like that's going on around this world, man. But it does
every day. He was mad because she made him get out of the car.
Listen, I could sit here for hours and hours and hours on end watching endless videos of police violating people's rights, shooting them over a fucking piece of paper.
Getting away with it.
Ruining people's lives for no reason whatsoever. More videos of other cops where they're planting drugs on people so that they can look like a hero and shit. I mean, it's endless.
You see the one where they're doing lines in the front seat of the guy's car and he gets a video of him doing it?
Yeah, I highly suggest you guys go to Good Luck America. It used to be Think Like a Cop. He was a cop for 30 years. He does some pretty good videos. So that's
why I like
hey, you guys need to stop it because There's good cops out there, dadgummit.
Are there?
Hey, the guy I'm bringing
Well,
up,
I'm
he
sorry
was a
you guys
good
heard
cop. He was a cop for 30 years, but he goes over these and says earning the 8. I mean, my God.
I think a good cop would be
the
very
thing. Here's the
angry to
problem.
see the videos just like us.
Here's the problem I have with the statement that there's good cops. Why don't they ever do anything about the bad ones?
Yes, yeah, very true.
Good cops are always the ones that die.
Pensions.
Oh, I'll tell you something
Money.
I've learned from. I'll tell you
Bribes.
something. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you backstage, Flats? What? I didn't hear the pop noise, and my whole one row is full
Dude,
up
how
here.
rude.
And I've been here for like 10 minutes now.
I'm sorry, man.
Hey,
Please.
Flats, you're around, mate. How you doing, mate? How you
Give me
doing?
yourself, guys. Mate.
Good
He's not Thomas, throw you guys. Come on.
Hey, Flats. Hey, welcome.
So, what do you think about the uprising Earth, the Delltardians, Keith? As if I need to ask.
I think the line should have been, "Don't beam me up, Scotty."
Wait, I know he believes it. Come on, Flats. Keith, you believe it. Come on, we're all in the same.
Man,
We're all in this together.
I've always had a dream of why do I have to throw my pancake in the air when I make pancakes? I mean, it just comes by itself. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It just catches itself, man.
Did you see where they were at, where they were comparing the behavior of a gas to a physically solid object with an apple hanging in a balloon with helium?
But they have a lot of false equivalents because they don't understand basic physics.
Let me see. Where is that? Do I still have it? Yeah.
Hey,
this one.
they do understand basic physics. They're just trying to manipulate the situation.
To be honest with you, they probably all have PhDs. That's what's bad.
This thing.
Well, it would take a
this thing
PhD to be
here.
that stupid, I guess.
So he's talking about the apple appears to go back because when the van accelerates forward and the balloon goes the opposite direction, but he's not. We're talking about a solid object and a gas. What the fuck are you comparing? Apples and oranges, or apples and gases, or what the fuck? I mean, did you? Oh my God! I messaged Jaron and I said, "Dude, what the fuck?" He said, "I know." He says, "I finally 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I had to get off."
But I mean, the thing is, what they're showing there is just simply displacement. So they're making a point when you say everything's based on displacement, and that's why things moves, not the acceleration.
It would have to keep the condition that he's advocating. That's the reason that there's a pressure gradient and all this other bullshit, right? That would mean that the speed upward would have to be continuously increasing, or it would already.
Yeah, it would. Otherwise, yeah, it would equalize. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the thing is, they can't claim a constant. They have to claim an acceleration. So in other words, if they're claiming acceleration, then fine. But then by now we should be faster than the speed of light or something. There's so many issues. What are we moving into? What caused this to move? What is this movement? What direction is this movement? And yeah, how fast are we going? I mean, because we would be accelerating,
why can't we see it?
The so-called G-forces should be increasing with time, not staying the same.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, exactly.
So you can't have it both ways. And that's why I say with these demonstrations that they give, it's only a temporary condition. Even the one I showed it on your show. And I showed it here tonight with the one I have with the two balloons, one with regular air and the other one with helium. That's more of an honest comparison as to what's occurring, because you're using two like substances, two gases, not a solid object and a gas. You know, I mean, we're talking about behaviors that are completely, it's not an honest demonstration, I don't believe. And there again, to keep that condition, you would have to be continuously increasing your speed to maintain the condition. Because once the van gets up to speed and maintains a speed, then everything's going to be relative and it's going to go back to equalization.
Yeah, that's why I said when it comes to terminal velocity, it debunks the whole argument.
Right. That's what I was just trying to explain to somebody earlier. I said that would mean that the Earth is rising up at terminal velocity or faster. I mean, this continual increase in speed, having it that way would mean we're going many, many, many times faster than the speed of light by now. You'd have to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't. It's ridiculous.
I've come to the conclusion that these people will defend that the magician cut the woman in half and put her back together.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
No, he really did,
They
though.
will literally defend it all the way with their lives. They're so stupid. It's insane.
It's the damn Jesuits, man. It's the Jesuits have been fucking with our minds for the longest time. Here's proof.
Yeah.
Here's proof of it. Here's everybody's favorite guy.
Scientists and laymen weren't matching what so-called astronomers were telling us. And so Einstein fabricated the theory of relativity to claim that your reality was relative to the time-space continuum.
It's all relative.
Actually, almost impossible to understand. You're just supposed to trust science and astronomy. The Jesuits then jumped on with dinosaurs and Charles Darwin to claim the Earth is billions of years old. And wherever Darwin's theory of evolution had holes, Jesuits stepped up to fill the gap. Jesuits like Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the father of the New Age. After fabricating the ape-like pre-humans that we supposedly came from, even students of evolution became concerned that there was a, quote, missing link between primitive apes and modern humans. A discovery was made in 1912 to bridge that gap. Having been found in Piltdown, East Sussex, England, it was named Piltdown Man. Unfortunately, it was also found to be a hoax. The skull of a small human with the altered mandible and teeth of an orangutan. Sometime later, paleontologist Stephen Jay Gould uncovered the father of that hoax, a Jesuit priest named Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. There are many such examples in archaeology and paleontology, and yet no one asks, why would so-called scientists be fabricating evidence? The goal was to discredit the Bible, and it has been resoundingly successful. Without the spinning ball Earth, Darwinian dinosaur cosmic accident, the Bible is a science textbook. With it, critics laugh and question the Bible, and instead look to human authorities to save their souls, such as the Vicar of Christ himself, who is, for the first time in Roman Catholic history, a Jesuit priest.
Right on the sixth day, at the very end of the sixth day, God took the earth and chucked it up real fast and left it.
And you know what's sad about that, though? You get Christians today that actually fell for it. They believe in evolution.
Scientists and laymen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. They just go with it. And there again, because, well, I'm sorry, I believe that a lot of clergy are actually agents of Satan. That's my belief. That is my belief.
You know, this isn't far from Keynesian economics, too. I don't mean to put it in a different direction, but the whole Keynesian economics and just creating more and more debt so you can just build your way out of it is insanity on top of that. I don't know if you guys have studied much of that, Austrian versus Keynesian economics, but that was a forte of mine. So, anyways, yeah. I digress. Nobody bit, so all right, I'll let it go.
No, I mean, I understand it, but this is the thing about this. I don't understand this push to be the earth is something other than what you observe. This seems to be a push with people. It really does, whether it's a globe guy or whether it's a hollow concave earth person or whatever else. It's always like, no, I'm going to go and trust my observations. I'm going to trust what is demonstrably provable, you know? And I'm sorry, Drake, the thing about the fucking mine shafts, that not good enough, my friend, not good enough at all. I don't know if you were here, Keith, but we had a guy come on here. It says the earth is actually a hollow globe that we're inside of, and there's a cosmic sphere in the very middle. What did he say? It's what? How far? 6,000 miles away, didn't he say? Something like that.
I think he said 4,000.
Yeah, 4,000 miles.
And he said he could prove it too.
Wow, I would love to see that proof.
I came on just because of that, because I was getting a kick out of it. I was like, I'm gonna have to join. Oh man.
What is that?
Was he able to prove it though? Did he show any evidence, or was it just again, trust me, bro?
And kind of, well, he said there's these two mine shafts that they put plumb bobs in, and they found out that they were not parallel with one another or something.
No, and don't forget, he also mentioned about the satellites that pointed up to the
but wait, I want to find
up to a mountain, and that proved it was in space because the satellite was pointing towards the mountain, so that is what proved it.
But I want to know.
I understand.
I want to find out about this plumb bobs though. As far as I know, only observation ever for a plumb bob is it lies in a vertical. Okay, 100% vertical. So where was it observed that they don't have the same vertical?
In two different mine shafts.
How the hell did they observe this if they can't see the other one?
I don't know. We never got that far with it.
Wow.
He kind of dropped out. Nobody was biting.
I came on and started laughing, and he bounced. I'm sorry, guys.
I
was getting a kick.
He's a big boy. He'll come back.
Yeah.
He's all right. He's not going to die.
Yeah, Keith, I was telling you, I was on the road earlier. I got back, and then we had a big storm. I had a tree that, like Sob said, it just magically, the earth rose, and the tree kind of fell down because the earth was rising at 9.8 meters squared, and the tree somehow just fell over because, the earth was rising. So. And, yeah,
it makes sense.
And then I had to get the chainsaw out, and somehow the chainsaw, like all I had to do was just put the chainsaw out, and it just magically just cut through the tree because it was moving up.
The chain wasn't moving.
Magic.
The saw was moving. The chain was stationary. The tree was moving.
Yeah, the Coriolis effect was in effect. Yeah, that's it. And it just kind of cut right through it, man. It was amazing.
Coriolis effect. You got the Corey Feldman effect. You got the Corey Haim effect. Good God. And the Cornholio effect. Don't forget about
the Cornholio. There we go again. I'm the great Cornholio.
Fire. Yeah. I'm sorry. I love Beavis and Butthead. It's like, people say, that's so stupid. It's so immature. I'm like, I know, that's what makes it so damn funny.
That's why I joined this show. I mean, it's great.
I don't know what that really says about the quality of my show, but hey.
No, I just want to laugh sometimes, just kick it back and talk to like-minded people so we can fool around and be idiots. It's fine.
I just joined the show because Sov is a fellow shell just like me, because we talk to people.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And I appreciate you guys. Yeah, likewise. So if I ever do piss you off, just tell me and I'll leave. You're not going to butter my biscuits in that aspect. I'll just be like, peace. All right. We're cool.
I mean, that's the thing that gets me is like when these people get all bent out of shape and everything, I just kind of laugh. I'm like, hold on a second, man. All we're doing is just questioning your belief. That's all. Okay. If you truly know this to be true, you shouldn't get upset if it's put to scrutiny. And they do. And that's how you can tell if your belief system is weak. if it triggers you to have it challenged. If it triggers you that your belief system is challenged, then you need to have your belief system challenged. I think that's a fair way of looking at it. Don't you?
All right. I don't know if you'll let me share this. I really highly doubt you're going to get any kind of bombardment
Oh no.
if I do. This is where I got the name from.
The last time I shared something you put up here. Oh, there was moon bounce back here too. I didn't see it. Sorry, buddy. I got copyright strike on it. So.
I don't think Jim Brewer. I don't think you're going to get anything from Jim Brewer. But
well, we'll see. All that'll happen is I'll have to go in and trim it out if it does. That's all. Trying to keep a clean record. Trying to keep a clean record, so they don't give me a bunch of shit.
Totally get it. Yeah.
What I'm saying, while he's getting it up quickly, the thing is, if they don't want to be scrutinized, then it shows you they are dishonest. It shows that they are deceivers because they wouldn't mind being scrutinized if they knew it was the truth.
What does that say? What would Jaron need to consist to not Chiquita about? I like Notch, but it seems he just made stuff up about Jaron. I don't know, man. I'm just saying that I watched the majority of that part where Dell was on Not Chiquitas, right? And even my wife was sitting here going, holy shit, and she's tearing it apart, and she's not an active flat earther. She's just been around me and you guys. She's off in the distance. She's listening, she's hearing this and she's listening to this bullshit and she's going, oh my God. Like what? And she's going, doesn't he understand that the weight is actually the relative density? I'm like, good for you, baby. Wow. But people get up onto that. It was late at night and everything. Dell does that. Dell gets really emotional about the shit too. He really does. He gets overly emotional about it.
No.
Yeah.
You're just retarded. You don't want to converse with me. Nobody wants to talk to me about this.
Jaron was funny. Jaron was like, I can't even fucking understand you. What did you say?
He has an accent for every single word in the dictionary, dude.
Oh my God, we were laughing so hard. I was just sitting there laughing so hard at that. I was like, listen, Jaron's like, I can't even fucking understand you. What did you say? And I'm like, yeah, you need to slow it down a little bit for him. And some of the words he says, I have to go, what? Oh yeah, all right, I got it. But see, I've been around a long time. I've heard a lot of different people's accents and shit. So I'm able to pretty much distinguish what people say. This is what, Jim Brewer? Which one is this one about? Is this the one?
Somebody had to say it. Now, this is where I got my name from. And he doesn't specifically say it, but this is where I got the idea from. All right.
Why is it called a Mr. Potato Head? Where's my picket sign? I like the world to listen to me. Meanwhile, this Marine's never mind that. We're talking about the potato head. You know that song by Dean Martin? Baby, it's cold outside. I think it's all about.
You guys get the point. But there you go. That's where I got the idea of buttered biscuits because of that itself. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's just his objective to her.
I don't get it.
To her perspective.
Nobody got it? I mean, that was back in 2021. So, I mean, at least he was talking about this stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I watched, I like Jim Brewer. I watched the Bruniverse and
he's a flat earther, too.
Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But there again, I think I probably trust him a bit more than I do most that are famous, because I know that these famous people are just going to want to jump on whatever seems to be popular at the time. Another thing that they try to do is put famous people in to co-opt and misguide people. So, I'm very wary of that, but I've listened to him. I've kept him on the meter, and so far so good. He seems to be pretty well on the legit as far as I'm concerned when it comes to talking about what's real and what's not. So I give him that.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. That's the background. I won't ever show it again. We're cool. There you go.
Yeah. I'll probably get some kind of a strike for some reason why what he talked about.
You know what? If you do, let me know too, because that would be suspicious on my part, and I'll probably stop listening if you do get a strike, because I want to know, like, if you do, honestly, because if you get a strike, because that's from his channel itself, so
Right.
he would have to strike you for that. So.
Well, it could even just the content, but if it was already on YouTube and it's still up, then it's still subject to the fair use laws.
Well, you at least you did speed it up, so that could help.
And we'll just do this for just to cover our ass.
What, people don't like free advertising anymore, or what, man? That's just kind of dumb, isn't it?
I know, right? Yeah, there you go. There
I'd
it
be
is.
like, yeah, go ahead, advertise the crap out of my thing if you want. Just, try not to make it look bad, but I mean,
it was literally 2.5 minutes.
Dude, I've got strike for my own content before.
Yeah, YouTube's a joke, man.
Because you got to protect yourself.
Fucking joke.
You have a responsibility.
Who could just explain what he said?
They just say there's certain things they don't want you now with everything the way it's
Kind of
going.
hard to explain.
You got to be even more careful, because even though it's nothing here, it's illegal in other countries, and so you get blocked in territories in other countries because of stuff you say, that goes against what they're trying to push. Like, I'm sure that if I go in on the immigration aspect of what's going on in England, if I get into that too deep, they'll strike me for that. I'm sure of it, because they really want to push a certain agenda. They don't want anything contrary to the idea they're trying to push on the people with their propaganda.
And this ought to tell you that you can't trust them, no matter whose government they are.
I've had 3 channels, and the last one I had, I think it was 2022. I finally lost it. I thought I was about out of it, and I think it was 2 or 3 days all I needed, and I ended up getting struck for it was basically a doctor that was talking about the CVIDs, and it was nothing, like, I didn't think it was anything at all. He was just talking about it, and he was giving different articles and that kind of stuff. I just thought it was informative, and he was actually a doctor, and they struck me, and they just tore it down.
That's why you just stay out of that, man. Don't even talk about that. If people ain't figured that dumb shit out by now, then there will be casualties.
Well, that was years ago, but it's 2 years ago.
That's the way I look at it in this whole thing. There will be casualties. You cannot singularly rely on what someone else or a group of people say. Okay. You have to use your own brain. You have to use your own brain. And if your own brain hasn't brought you to the idea that what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're being told is utter fabricated nonsense, then I don't know how to help you. And perhaps I shouldn't, because after all, in every war, there are casualties. And perhaps there are those that are just destined to be those casualties. Not everybody that hit the beach at Omaha came home.
That's right. Yeah, the name of that channel, that last channel, was If You're a Christian. That's, I mean, my goodness. Dead to the World was the one before that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the one before that.
Oh, what do we got going? Oh, something about a rocket launch. I was just looking on here. Bill Esquire's got some video of rocket launches. And more of that nonsense. A guy, you've seen him on here before. Trust me, bro. Where'd you go, Keith? Your shit's not connected, bro. What happened? He said, do you have any video clips of NASA fuck ups, and hoaxing and shit? And I says, yeah, sure. Wait till I get on my computer. I'll send you a bunch. Dude, I totally bombed him. TJ Lines comes on here as Jeebus Crisp. I just like sending one right after the other. Bam, 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 bam. Here's enough to get you
Well,
started.
it's not like there is an abundance of them to send, right?
Yeah, but see, he knows I've got them all collected in one place. Which,
I'd like to get my hands on that.
is handy to do. But the thing is, you get so many of these different things, and then I had to categorize and make folders. Your camera and mic is blocked. Why? Why is your camera and mic blocked? Nobody's done anything to you. Did so? What? That don't make any sense, Flatzoid. You're not blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look and see. Maybe did somebody fuck with you? Let me go over
what?
here.
Oh, somebody.
Let me go over here just a second. Oh, how do I get into that shit? Let's see. That's moderation activity. All right, wait a second. Community moderation. There we go. Let's go in here and take a look. He shouldn't be blocked at all. Let's see. Standard moderators, hidden users. No, I don't see you so far.
Hey, Flats, why don't you try a different browser? If you have Google open, try like.
Yeah, because you're not in the blocked list, bro. Not at all.
Flatzoid's an idiot.
Oh man, that's rough. Yeah.
All right, let me see something here. I want to. Let's see. Is there something in here? Maybe. Yeah.
Try Firefox or something.
No, he's not in that one. Not in the. No.
No, I'm just saying.
So you should be okay if you're using
StreamYard in a different.
If you're using Chrome, I know in the past StreamYard and Chrome have had issues. So
yeah, try Firefox. See if that'll work for you.
Yeah, no, Flatzoid's not blocked, so it's on his end. Something going on on his end.
Go check your settings here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know because that's weird. He was coming in fine, and then all of a sudden I looked and it said device is not connected, and then he was out. So I don't know. We'll see.
You've been banned.
Yeah, you got banned. No, I looked to make sure that it wasn't like a rogue.
OUT spells out.
No, you're not blocked, man. It says it shows I blocked him. No, I'm looking in here. You go under here under guests, and in here on the StreamYard side, no, you're not there. You're not in that list.
So this will be my second test here. If Sovereign doesn't show up the Flats channel anymore, we'll know he's also another show.
Right. Hang on, and then we just went to the
test of the day. Jim Brewer and we got Sav. So I got two of you I'm testing out today. This is great.
I see here. So yeah, I went right to the thing. I'm gonna go try it again and go into there. Go to community moderation, and let's see, who do I got? Under hidden users. Okay, and I'm looking. I see no.
You could try restart the computer, see if something.
No, you're not on that blocked list or anything.
So yeah, knock it off. Tell us about perspective.
What do you want to know?
Who are you
going up or down?
Who's asking what?
Just about perspective. Tell us about perspective.
In what regards?
The flat Earth.
Okay, so what perspective of what?
Of whether the sun or the moon is actually
circumnavigating.
There you go. The Earth or not.
Well, we don't detect any movement of the Earth, so the only thing that can be going is that the sun and the moon are moving. We have no evidence of the Earth moving, so I don't really understand what you're getting at.
Well, no, I'm just asking if you equate the Earth or the sun and the moon navigating the Earth, what would cause that to happen?
Oh, I have no idea. I only know that it does. I don't even know what the sun and moon actually are. So where do we go from there? I mean, what is the sun? Where is the sun? Exactly. That would be a good place to start.
Right, because we all would observe the Earth or the sun and the moon from our own perspective. My perspective would be different than yours.
Well, yeah, I would suppose so. I'm not looking through your eyes. Along those same lines, though, we both are looking at things. We see something and we agree that it is the color blue. But how do I know that what you're seeing isn't completely different than what I'm seeing? We just both agree that that's blue.
Exactly. And what makes us agree that it's blue?
Because that's what we've seen that called our entire lives, our entire existence. We've seen that hue and been called it blue. You've seen a hue and called it blue. But how do I know that what you see is the same as what I see? We just have both seen something that we agree is called blue. But how do I know that it appears to you the same way as it appears to me? I don't. I only assume that it does.
Correct. So as in Tony would say that we're inside a sphere to on a level plane. It's the same thing as like what you appear for your what you see out of your eyes compared to what he sees out of his glasses is like totally different.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't, as far as that is concerned, convex or concave, I see no evidence of any deviation in the plane that would suggest either one. Right?
Right. But that you and I can agree that is because we were taught that blue is blue and gray is gray.
Mm-hmm. Right. And like I said, though, I don't know that that anything I see appears exactly the same to you as it appears to me. We just agree that the interpretation that my mind makes and the interpretation that your mind makes, we both have agreements on it. So what are you showing us, Biscuits? Are you showing us the azimuthal grid of vision?
Exactly. Yeah, this is I guess Shane's model.
Mm-hmm.
His dome model. But yeah, the azimuthal grid itself. So if that's what he's asking, I mean, you have the sun, the moon, depending on where you are, your eclipses, how those all work, day and night. I mean, if you want me to share this in the in the comments or in the chat itself, and you can take a look. This itself will
I've got that bookmarked. I've got that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm just saying for others on top of that. Let's see, connect. Let's do that. Oh my God.
But so he never get it. He didn't get his thing worked out. I don't understand why that thing won't let him be in here, unless it's on his end because he's
the only reason I point this out is because of the perspective. Because he was asking. Failed to post. Oh, great. All right. If I post it in private chat, can you forward it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is my point, is that what he's showing is that in everyone within themselves has their own personal perspective. which makes, in some sense, the universe isolated to themselves, where they have their own life, their own perspective of what they believe their existence is.
Well, it's based off of your eyes to an extent. So yeah, I suppose. But you can kind of see the sun is right here, right? And that's based off of the time itself and where you would see it. Obviously, it's nighttime for them, so they can't see the sun. And you also see that this itself is moving in a different direction as the stars would be above. But that's all based off of your perspective because you're azimuthal grid. And here's your moon. But the moon's going to have an apparent direction and also the sun itself. So it's actually going to show a little bit different. You see that?
So do you,
because the
so
moon
do
is
you
actually
believe?
here. Go ahead.
So do you believe that's what actually makes you yourself unique from everyone else?
No. If that's what makes me unique, no, absolutely not. What makes me unique is my thoughts, my mind, my experiences.
Your perspective.
Yeah, that is a perspective, sure. Yeah, I can see that. Sure. But based off of this is your eyes perspective itself. But are your eyes going to make you unique from everybody else? I mean, to a sense, but what if you're blind? Then you have no perspective and you have no uniqueness. Is that what you're saying? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
No, I'm talking about you actually in being your spiritual self. Whether you're blind or whether you're deaf, you still have your own perspective of your life according to you.
And it's all going to be based off your testimony and also what you've experienced in life and also what you've been taught and what you have been able to discern for yourself from what you've been taught. And you're going to have to figure out for yourself, what is true, what is not, right?
So why did they keep placing this, like you just did, that map of like a perspective within a person? It's like, but like you're saying, if that person is blind, that map that you just shown is irrelevant.
Sure, that they're going to have, even in the aspect of a globe itself, I mean, you're going to be told, and what kind of perspective are you going to have if you're blind, if you can't see anything at
Right.
all? You're going to be going off of what other people say.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult. So we're blessed in that aspect that we are able to actually see. But
how do blind people know when they're done wiping?
Smell. Smell and touch. That would be my answer, but right?
I'm just it's a legitimate question,
Yeah, that's my legitimate answer.
I mean, do they have to go by
touch? Yeah.
Do they go by a friction factor, or I mean,
who smells their finger?
Well, you want to know if you're healthy or not, right? So why not? Dogs do it.
Sometimes I put my finger in the ice cream and I smell it before I eat it. It's okay. You don't have to eat ice cream with your
you always have to smell it.
It's all right if you dip your finger in there first and grab a piece, smell it, and this smells good. It's okay, let's eat it. But ice cream's a little bit different than duty anyways, but yeah, I'm just saying. Where are we going with this conversation is my question. I don't.
Yeah,
you were asking about perspective.
Flavors.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking about perspective. I was giving perspective. That's why I said in what sense, because there's.
I got a cool thing I want to show you. This is kind of interesting. I haven't really gotten into this, but this is kind of interesting about the moon. The good conversation starter. Saying that it's plasma and that the shimmering is plasma. Watch the tiny little craters in their movement.
I see why they always take pictures, show you still images, so you don't see those little craters, those little bubbles blinking and moving around. Somebody keeps shooting a daggone gun.
Sounds like my neighborhood.
The thing is extremely crazy to look at, man.
It really is, yeah. It's mesmerizing, to be honest with you.
It really is.
That's,
it really
that's
is.
totally cropped.
Yeah, it's cropped. I mean, he can't get the full vision. He's also on TikTok, so it's, you know, going from your phone and that, again, perspective. But it's really mesmerizing. And look at the darkness. You see you see straight through the other side from the dark side of the moon. You see no other outline from it, which is,
I know, it's nuts.
You know, really crazy. How does that happen? That's the question, you know. One of these days,
the claim there is that it's plasma, you know, and I've heard that claim before. Do I know? No, I don't.
It could be.
Very possible. I know it's not a big ball of rock. That, you know, rocks just don't behave that way.
Have you seen some of the videos where they show that it matches up with kind of like the Earth itself and what we know as the Earth?
The what now? Say it again.
It shows basically a map. Have you seen that before? I'll have to find the video if you haven't seen it. It's oh my goodness. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
No.
You might have seen it. All right. Give me a second. See if I can find it.
Yeah, what's really crazy is that wave where they show goes over the moon is that they want to call that a gravitational wave. As in
gravitational wave, right on. Yeah, let's go with that. Why the fuck not? Jesus. The shit that these people come up with is just insane. You know? It really is. Everybody still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm looking up this. I'm seeing if I can find that video and all.
Yeah, I mean, and meanwhile, you know, it's like, yeah, it's a gravitational wave. That's it. Yeah, it's caused by a flux capacitor. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's what it is. They just make up shit. Always. That's all they can do is just make up shit. And here's the thing that cracks me up is I get all these fucking idiots like on Facebook. They're like, you just deny science. I'm like, okay, well, let's use science. And you start going into the scientific method with one of their claims and they just run the fuck away. And they get mad at you and you're like, well, wait a second. You're the one that said I didn't know science. And here we are using science and it's not going your way. So now you're mad. What's the fuck here? You know?
Right. Because science is like question everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ask basic questions about their positive claims and they can't answer a single one of them. And that's what I think is funny. And then what's their only recourse is to just get mad at you. I'm like, okay, well, that helps your case a whole lot there. You know, get angry about it. When all else fails, just get mad.
This is not the video itself, but I think just looking at it, I think you'll be able to kind of discern what I was just saying itself if you take a look at it. I'm not going to put the sound because it sounded like it was really loud. Or I can put it.
Oh, that I know what you're talking about. That the face of the moon is actually a mirrored map of the Earth.
So people are saying if you have plasma, it's almost like taking the image itself. So like what they used to do in the 1800s, and then they would take an image and
but beyond a shadow of the doubt, perfectly accurate in reflecting all the continents and the right proportions. It takes a bit of time to see it and to get used to it because it requires a lot of internal effort to overcome a lifetime of conditioning and to believe that what you're being taught from birth is not true. But if you have an open mind and if you're curious about what you're looking at, you will realize that this is not the first time you've seen it. and that somebody might know this truth too, but they don't want to disclose it to you.
All right, so check it out. If that were, then
Could
the
be.
surface
I'm
would
not
have
saying
to
it
be.
is.
I know, that's what I'm just looking at some of the things I had to consider with some of that too. It would be a distorted image because if it's concaved or convexed, okay.
It would be.
So
It would be weird.
this would only actually work if the moon itself, or as an image capturing surface, were actually flat. Secondly, compared to what we know, we have no accurate maps but it does seem to have some merit as to it. It does seem to suspiciously match up to what we know or think we know that the Earth looks like. Another aspect of it too, we know that one of the ingredients in photography or in film, one that's majorly used, has been silver. And I also find it very interesting that silver is the alchemic planet representing silver. So I don't know, just something that kind of connects the two together.
True.
Are we going to know for sure? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. And it's interesting speculation.
It's a plausible speculation. Yes.
Right. So what we have to, what I like to do though is I like to go into those speculative things, but we have to stick into the realm of what's provable, what's demonstrable, what we can actually put our boots on, what we can actually show to be true. And even just within the basics tells us that the realm that we live in is nothing close to what they try to postulate. Okay.
Yeah, I like to at least give people a different option, at least open their minds and expand them so that they can think outside of the box. And that's basically it. I mean, I'm not saying that is the way it is, but it very well could be. It could be something that, like an ancient technology that we didn't know about. So you'd like the old world order, that video itself, you know. So it's plausible, but not determinable. You know, again,
they have done such fuckery that the amnesia that we have collectively is extremely strong. We don't know who we are, we don't know where we are, and we don't know when we are. And so we have to try to put the pieces together. Despite everybody trying to gaslight us, we have to go, no, that can't be true. I have to look into this a little deeper. I have to take the evidence that I have, and I have to write a new story. I have to come up with another plausible explanation because yours is not holding water. And this is what we find time and time again, whether it comes to historical narratives, cosmology, what have you. We're always finding that there's an effort to gaslight us into the antithesis of what is real, which is absolutely part of a Luciferian doctrine, to invert. And the more you see of an inversion, the more you see that this entire thing is controlled by the nemesis, by the shaitan,
by the powers that should not be. Yes.
The deceiver and his minions.
Mm-hmm. Every time I hear you do that, I just have to laugh. I'm like, there's a sovereign again. He hit his bull, man. All right.
So what it is, it comes down to, they want to capture your kids. They want to capture your kids' minds, right? And this lady, she found out what her kids were watching.
They're not grooming our kids? Watch this.
And all these families marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. This family has two mommies, they love each other so proudly, and they all go marching in the big parade. This family has two daddies, they love each other so proudly. Trans members of this family all love each other so proudly.
I physically could not watch any more of that. Listen, our 1, 2, 3, however year old do not need to be learning about other people's sexual orientation. What happened to teaching them colors, shapes, and numbers? Teaching them how to count to 10 or say the alphabet, not learn the alphabet soup.
They can't teach them that anymore.
with us, you are part of the problem with this child grooming BS. I guarantee if Blue's Clues started praying, you'd be ready to throw hands. They're not grooming our kids.
Yeah, they would.
My
If Blue's Clues did an episode on Jesus or something like that, people would throw in their fucking hands up in the air, freaking out. They would.
Yeah. That's for
There's
sure.
demons. I'm telling you, man, it's demons all over, everywhere you look.
I'm at that age of my kids that I'm like real scared. I'm like, I don't know if I did good or if I did bad, or if they're gonna go off to left field. I got one kid going into he's going into college, but he's in community college because it's what you can afford, and he's going into the IT stuff. So but that's his choice. So I'm trying to support it, but community college $3,000, and I'm not per semester times 2. So it's not like it's gonna kill anybody. It's not like 30 or 40 grand, and he's doing it from home as much as he can, not having to go to class. So he's got me on that. But anyways, I'm at that point now. I'm like, man, where are my kids gonna end up? And it's like a very scary couple of years.
Here's what parents have to be, right? You are going to take little humans and try to make them into decent people. Okay. And this includes not letting them just run amok and do whatever the fuck they want to do. This is why we set guidelines. This is why we have certain disciplines that we teach our children. This is why
my kids were homeschooled too, by the way.
Yeah. So this is why you have to teach them certain social etiquettes, so that they can commingle amongst the rest of us, you see, and have as little problems as possible. But unfortunately, we've had these communist, Marxist fucking psychiatrists that have come in over the periods of time and tell you all this bullshit about, like Dr. Spock, and, give the kid a timeout or anything. Listen here, I'm sure that even Jesus himself got his ass paddled from time to time by Joseph. I guarantee you, because kids are kids, man. And that's how you bring them up right. I'm not saying abuse a child, but there has to be consequences for adverse actions. That's all.
No, I'm saying
that's not. Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying this, that you're like throwing hands, like you're working that heavy bag. You're working that heavy bag, man, throwing them lefts and them rights, and you're talking to your child. And you're talking to your child about how it needs to grow up and how it needs to like lead its life. Like all the time you're throwing that heavy bag. You're throwing them lefts and them rights, and that heavy bag is like throwing your punches, throwing your values, and to grow that child in that aspect of every time you're hitting that bag, you're telling your child, this is how it is. This is how you show yourself.
No. You don't force it on anybody. What you do is with a firm hand. And what'll happen is you're leading by example. You don't lead by force. You're never going to get a following. Okay? You never lead by force.
I'm not talking about hitting your child. I'm talking about hitting that bag so that you show by example. You don't show by force. You actually show by example.
So this was a great lesson here. I thought this was, I remember this episode of Andy Griffith, and this was really quite interesting because what he says makes absolute sense.
It's about Opie. Something wrong? Well, there seems to be something wrong with his thinking. Who's to say that the boy would be happier your way or mine? Why not let him decide? No, I'm afraid it don't work that way. You can't let a young'un decide for himself. He'll grab at the first flashy thing with shiny ribbons on it. Then when he finds out there's a hook in it, it's too late. Wrong ideas come packaged with so much glitter, it's hard to convince them that other things might be better in the long run. All a parent can do is say, wait, trust me, and try to keep temptation away.
That means that you're inviting me to leave.
That's right.
Well, you're wearing a badge, so I'll leave. It's so difficult. Your problem solved.
That's where you're wrong. That boy thinks just about everything you do is perfect. So my problem's just beginning. Now look here. Goodbye, Mr. Dave. It's about open.
I remember that too. This guy was teaching him, kind of the wrong way. And, Opie was hanging out and listening to this old, he was just a hobo. He's just a hobo, is what the guy was. And he's like, no, man, he's looking to you you need to stay away. You need to quit giving him these ideas. And that's the thing. You have to tell them no. And what he said about that they'll grab at the first shiny thing and before they realize there's a hook in it. And that happens time and time again. And that's why it's up to us as parents and as grandparents that these scars that we have received through and that have given us wisdom, that we can at least try to give that information on to prevent the kids from having to undergo the same things. But the problem is they most often will go ahead and do it anyway. That's how the reality of it is. But when you bring them up with the strong, with good morals, and outside of what the system is trying to teach them and turn them into, I think you can actually mold children into just wonderful, fabulous human beings. The problem is the system wants to turn them into trash, and they make you so busy that you haven't got time to tend to it for yourself. So what do? You have to send them off somewhere to be taken care of while you're off at your slave job. And most often that's the public school, which isn't an institution of learning. It's an institution of programming.
Indoctrination. Yes.
Yes. Teaching against teaching. It's there again. Fucking Jesuits again.
I'm not quite as old as you, Sovereign, but I do remember when I was still in high school, towards the end of my high school, they put the standards of learning SOLs in.
Yeah.
I remember my teachers. I actually had like 3 or 4 teachers that quit during that time because they said we can no longer teach what we want to teach. We're having to go by these guidelines.
It's memorizing.
I didn't understand what that meant. Yeah.
It's memorizing the fucking answers.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
I didn't understand it back then.
It comes down to just memorizing, and they don't understand the material. They've only memorized key answers to key questions. And we're seeing this.
And they have to stay on a timeline on top of that. So they have to be on a specific timeline, which is very strenuous for the teachers, and they have to continue to teach the BS that they don't want to. And even when they do get maybe a week or 2 right before Christmas and all that, they're so damn tired that they don't really care. They just want the time off, and they want to just kick back and show videos. Some of my old teachers, they would say, okay, now it's my turn. Now I get to teach some stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought that was, a couple of teachers that I had that I really applaud them for standing up. And a lot of people would say, oh, we thought we were going to watch them. No, we're not. No, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some real teaching now. I don't want to teach based off of whatever else. I don't have any standards of learning to go by. So I have a week that I can actually teach you guys something.
Right. So consequently, people are learning what they think they're learning something because they memorize some shit, but they don't have any idea what it actually fucking means. Right? So it's useless. It's just a memorized answer. It doesn't mean you're smart, right? Because you've not really weighed it out. You don't really understand it. You're not able to apply that logic or that knowledge to other instances. All you can do is repeat a mantra. I see this daily on Facebook and on X. These people, they just want to repeat a mantra. Mass attracts mass. No, it doesn't. That's a myth. Okay? That's a myth.
What you're doing is regurgitating an A so that you can seem smart to the people in your class, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not being smart. That's regurgitation. That's it. Just throwing up, and you're just puking up the same crap that seen people puked up before, and that's it. So.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to wind it up here. We're over 3 hours. I just wanted to come on here and kind of dispel this ridiculous notion of an upward rising Earth. I thought that had already been put to rest, and then I see people are jumping into it, and I'm like, oh my God, have you even thought this out yet? Because you saw a couple of tricks that a guy did with a water bottle. Really? You've not really thought it out, have you? No. Okay.
Magic.
Yeah. So that's what we wanted to get into here tonight in the first place. And of course, we always like to just have a little bit of fun and, joke and play around, look at some crazy shit. But I'll thank you guys, Cookie Monster and Butter Biscuits, for coming up tonight. Keith, I don't know what happened. I double checked everywhere and there, you are not blocked. Everything, is checking out. So it's got to be on your end, bro. Probably a South African government's got you on a list, bro. That's what's up.
You're welcome. Thanks for having
they're
us.
in cahoots with the Penguins. They're in cahoots with the Penguins anyways. Everybody knows that. I'm sure it's not rising upward. I'm 100% fucking positive, Riley Studios. I am absolutely 100% sure. 100. All right. Well, as we always like to tell everybody, the advice that we give you is always remember the Lord loves the work. Oh, look at me. I'm all blurry and shit. That's fucked up. Wonder why. Well, it don't matter at this late stage of the game because the Lord loves the work.
For a minute.
Don't trust Whitey and see your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably kill you. Good night, everybody.